You're live.
Let me know, because I haven't got a notification on my phone yet that we're live.
You're live.
We're probably, oh, I got it right there. We're probably
No thanks. I've already voted.
outstanding. There comes the notification finally coming through. Thank you guys for being here tonight. This is a special episode or coverage. This is special coverage here on the 3 of 7. This ain't even a podcast. This is just coverage.
Yeah. All it is.
We're in the midst of a historical evening here in the United States of America. And I've been burning the midnight coal, son. I got back at 12:30 a.m. today. And now we're going to be up all night covering the election for you guys, our viewers, our subscribers. We wanted to be here to.
Trump just won Alabama.
Hold on, we're not there yet.
And Mississippi.
We wanted to be here to cover this for you guys. And that's what tonight's show is all about. We've got the whole thing up right here, Chili and Corn. They've been watching closely since the ballot voting stations or whatever you call them closed at 7:00.
He got Oklahoma for Trump.
Dang, he is busting it out. So let's get
Tennessee for Trump.
Let's get right into this. Let's see where we're at.
Good gosh, we started at a hot time.
Let's see where we're at in the race so far, because I haven't been following this at all today. I actually been sleeping all day. So where are we sitting right now? You guys give us a report. What's the news telling us? Where are we at right now?
Big Mama Kamala's got 35 electoral votes, and Big Daddy Trump's sitting at 86.
Okay, so what states does Trump have in the locked down in the books?
He just got West Virginia and South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Kentucky, and Indiana.
Okay. Now, all those states, was there any thought or any idea that he wasn't going to win those states?
No,
not to the best of my
So those
knowledge.
aren't what you would call swing states.
No, we have 7 swing states.
Okay. Do you know what those are?
We have Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan, with Pennsylvania being the most important in this election. With 20 electoral votes.
Well, I see right now, so staying on the red, I see Georgia is like a light red color. What does that mean?
That means that with the votes that have already come in, that have already been counted, which, by the way, all of the ones that are already even declared for Trump or Harris, it's only about 30% total votes counted. They're just going ahead and calling the state based on the numbers that have come in, because they're pretty dang sure that it will.
Okay.
That it will turn out the way they're saying. Some are going to be too close to call, so those will go late into the night. But there's really going to be 7 that are not called immediately, and those are the swing states I just mentioned.
So Georgia's a swing state.
Yes.
And that's why it's light red.
Because it's leaning red right now with the votes that have come in, but way too close to be able to call.
So what are we looking at in Georgia right now, percentage-wise?
With 33% of the precincts reporting, Trump is at 55.5% and Kamala at 44%.
Yeah.
Wow. So it's pretty close then.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
We also have Texas leaning blue right now.
With 8% reporting.
See, it's very little.
Let's talk about Kamala. What has she got locked down at the moment?
She's got Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and Connecticut, and Maryland.
Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Maryland. What are those even states? I mean, who the crap lives in any of those places?
Wow. Well, those states, there was really zero hope that anybody but Big Mama Kamala would win those.
So these people in these states, they're really voting for Kamala, huh?
That's the thing. You know, all the talk about election fraud, voter interference.
Now we're going to get into that.
Oh, yeah. Well, the deal is, to whatever degree you believe that is going on, it is also a fact that millions and millions and millions of people will legitimately cast a ballot for her, and that is mind-numbing. How you think about that?
Well,
put that in your pipe and smoke it, bub.
It's looking good right now, but it's awful early, isn't it?
No, I mean, what do you think? What do you think, Corn? I mean, what do you think about the fact that millions of people will vote for her?
Well,
Now remember, Corn, in this coverage, it's just like a podcast. You still have to talk into your microphone. Don't forget about that.
I mean, these people out there, I was surprised when I went down
You think
to Dooley County.
You think they're slack-jawed retards? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
That's what I heard you say.
all those farms down yonder in Dooley County, those cotton farms, the majority of them had Kamala signs out on the side of the road. That word farms, not just on the right of way. And I was really shocked by that.
Well, you know, it's very interesting that I think that isn't it like common knowledge that the black community will primarily vote Democrat, like historically?
Yeah.
And isn't it interesting that the president who signed the Emancipation Proclamation was a Republican, and the Republican Party has traditionally been more on the side of that demographic than the Democratic Party.
Right.
But in South Georgia, we have a large percentage. We have a large black population in South Georgia. So I'm imagining why would they? I mean, is there any theory to why that demographic traditionally votes Democrat?
No, I have no idea why. No idea why.
It's a strange thing.
Yeah.
It really is,
Absolutely.
man.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing. So I had a question for you guys, and if anything changes on the ticker there, just let us know. But I'm wondering what you guys think. Is this election, is it really any more important than any other election that we've ever had? Because the reason I asked this question is because I was seeing clips of this guy Eli Musk. I was seeing clips of Eli Musk today. He did an interview and he was saying that if Donald Trump doesn't win this election, that it will be the last election in the history of America. Did y'all see where Eli said that?
I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Now, what does Eli Musk do? Where does he work?
I think he owns SpaceX.
He works at Kroger,
And he did Tesla.
Food line. He works at Food line.
But this is a serious question. And
Eli Musk.
what do you guys think, YouTube? What do you guys think about the comment that was made by Eli Musk?
About Donovan Trump.
No, man, look, this is a freaking serious This is a serious question, guys.
Eli
Because-
said if Donovan don't win,
He told me when I was checking out at Kroger.
when people are making comments like, if this will be the last election in the United States if Donald Trump doesn't win. You know what's odd to me? That every population of humans that live on the earth, like, every 100 years you get all new people, right? Well, every one of those cycles, everybody thinks that the time that they were living on earth and the things that are going down are like the end all be all, like son of a gun. If this don't happen, it's just all over, man.
Right.
So genuinely, man, what do y'all think? Do you think that this is the most important election? Do you think it's more important than other elections that we've had here in the United States in the past? Do you guys agree with Eli Musk? Or do you think that this is just another freaking hoopla where the humans that are alive right now think that the situation that they're in is unique in all American history, and that this is, if Trump don't win this, then the country's just done? I've heard a lot of people say that the country's done if Trump doesn't win this. What do you guys think about that, man?
No, I think Eli must be full of crap because
So you don't go with him on that.
No, I don't go with him on that. Look, the comment by Eli
He did a podcast
with
with
Joe Rogan. Yeah, he did. And he said that, but he did clarify that he meant that the Democratic policies that will allow the illegals to come in the amounts that they will come in under Kamala's border policies and everything, and the fact that you're not going to require them to have voter ID, and they're moving them into swing states and trying to get legislation passed in those states that will allow them to vote without voter ID, is they're trying to make it just a foregone conclusion that Democrats, the ones that let them in and let them be able to do that, will vote no matter what. So he did clarify that he meant it will be the last free and fair election that we've ever had.
Specifically because
of illegal immigration and voter ID.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
go ahead.
The question is, how free and fair are they now? I mean, 2020, I've had that question ever since I was alive, and 2020 has really brought that into light in a lot of people's minds. But, you know, there are other people who are saying what you're saying, that this will be the last election, period, because of the dang world ending, basically. You know, whether they think she'll send us into World War III or what, I don't know, but I don't agree with that.
What's your take on it, Corn? Is this really that much different than other elections that have been held in the past? Is this critical? Is it all over if Trump doesn't win tonight?
I'm not going to say that it's all over, but I could see the stranglehold getting tighter and tighter with what happened during COVID, with what happened during the 2020 election. Like, I can see it definitely getting tighter and tighter. I see a time when here very soon, if not right after this one, maybe right after the next one, that it ain't going to be now free and fair election. So I agree. The time is either now or getting close.
But do you think the elections are free and fair this year?
Well, we're gonna get into that. All right. I want to go back to this case you were making about illegal immigration, which was specifically clarified by Eli Musk. Illegal immigration. So you guys went and voted today. Cornbread, Chili.
I voted early.
Blake. I wanted to vote today. And I actually did vote today. I'll tell you guys the story here in just a little bit. But what was your experience at the polls? When you went into the polls, did you have to show proper identification? Did you have to prove you were who you actually said you were? I mean, what was that experience like for y'all?
Yeah, I had to show my driver's license, show that I was a resident in the county that I was voting in. Yeah.
Okay, you're losing your voice already?
Yeah.
This is going to be a long night, Bubba.
Pennsylvania's ticking me off.
Well, what county did you vote in?
Paulding County, Georgia.
Well, see, I voted in Paulding County, Georgia, too, as evidenced by my
yeah, that's a nice sticker.
And
they put some good adhesive on that.
but if you know,
got one on his neck.
Yeah, mine says my vote was secured. See, my sticker allows secured.
Well, they may have given me a different sticker because mine does not allow that. And I will say that I had a different experience than Corn when I voted in Paulding County because I'm the holder of a Tennessee driver's license. But I came down to do a little boots on the ground journalistic investigation, and I voted in Paulding County, Georgia. It was at the Dallas precinct.
And so
Dallas, Georgia.
They let you vote.
Well, so what happened is they were checking voter ID, and I told them that I am a sovereign citizen, and I do not have to show you identification upon your request. I have rights as a sovereign citizen that I do not have to abide by those rules, but I can vote. You can't take that away from me. And they said, okay.
They had to go along with it.
I went into a different line, but it was the same ballot. It was all electronic, right, Corn?
Yeah, all electronic.
Yep. And I cast a.
Okay, so you guys, there was no paper involved at all.
Nope.
Well,
not with me.
The paper was after you casted your vote, and it
after.
Yeah, after you casted your vote, the paper printed out of a printer, and you took said paper.
Yeah.
and you walked around and there was another machine
And you slipped it into
and
that.
they said, slide it in this.
Yep.
And it had a number already on it. And they said, when that number goes up by 1, it counted your ballot.
Yeah.
So you slid said paper into the machine and you waited there. It took about 10 seconds and it would go up by 1.
Okay. Well,
But see, it's all electronic, really.
yeah,
where you actually.
but that's a good. I guess it's a good sign that if at the polls and the experience that you guys had and the experience that I had today when we all went and voted.
But what did you do? You didn't allow yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you the story about me going to vote here in a little bit.
Must be spectacular.
Oh, it's big. But it's good to hear that the experiences that we have had. It seems like none of these illegals, at least in the state of Georgia, are going to be able to get in and vote. But aren't other states more lenient on that? Because I've heard some things about California was trying to pass or may have passed some legislation to where it was going to make it actually illegal for you to ask for identification when a person comes to vote. Did you guys hear about that?
Yeah.
So we're just getting the Georgia perspective, but in other states, do you think that it is a possibility that these illegal immigrants are going to be able to go in and cast a vote
This year or in the future?
this year? I'm talking about this year.
Yeah, I mean, I would think states like California are allowing that.
Well, I just saw Ron B commented in the comment section, 16 states do not require ID to vote.
Yeah, that's already in many states.
That's absolute insanity. How on earth could you not require ID to vote? That is absolute insanity.
Yeah, it's crazy. And not just for illegals coming in. They could go, California folks could get somebody to come from just another city up the road and say, hey, come down and vote in this city too.
So there could be people voting multiple times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's unbelievable, man.
That don't make no sense at all.
All right. So that was my first question. So you guys well, it sounds like you Corn, you do agree that this election and what's going to happen tonight is really a linchpin in the future of America. And you don't think that it's just us as humans getting all worked up and thinking that our situation is unique.
Well, it's when it comes to the actual voting in of the president. Now, I'm not saying that what's going on in the world is more unique than any other time, by no means.
Yeah.
But I think what's happening directly in our country with the federal government is unique. Maybe the stranglehold started way back when Big Daddy Washington started it, and it just started squeezing. I think now they're about to pinch our head off.
Yeah, I was talking about this to my buddy Sal Frisilla yesterday in San Antonio, and we were talking about how is our situation at this day and age, is it different? Is it unique in all of human history, or are we just being like everyone else? Do you think that the country has ever been this divided?
Yes.
Think so?
Yes.
I think with social media and it being in the palm of our hands, I think it has to be different. I really do. Like talking back, way back in the day, way before that, talking about all those farmers down in South Georgia and what.
You're on the old subject, Corn. Like, I see what you're saying. You're saying our current situation is different because of technology, the global connectedness of man. Okay. I agree with you on that. That does make our situation unique. But now we've moved on from that question, Bubba.
No, we didn't.
Yeah.
You said more divided.
Yeah. Has the country ever been more divided than it is?
So because
right now?
You have that in your hand, there are people that are able to feed themselves with all that politico mumbo jumbo bull crap all day, and they do nothing but live that.
Yeah.
And that fuels their dividedness, and it fuels others' dividedness. You just scroll through Instagram, and it's abortion this, abortion that, and this person won't let you have an abortion, but this person will let you have an abortion, and on and on and on and on. And that does nothing but just slap divide folks. Period.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now, so Chile, you say the country has been more divided than what we're witnessing today.
Well, at least as much.
As
Man.
much. I mean, I have to say that there was a time in American history where men were killing one another wholesale by I guess hundreds of thousands. And it wasn't that long ago. It was just in the 1860s. And it was a little thing that history calls the Civil War. And I would say that time and that day and age, I would say the country was way more divided than what we're experiencing here today. And I think that if we could have lived back in those days, we would have really understood what real division was. Like, division to the point that I'm going to take up arms and I am going to kill and possibly die for my side, right?
Yeah.
Like, we are not even close to that right now. But here's the caveat to that. Maybe we're not really close to that right now because men have become so cowardly and weak that they will never be willing to do that again. Maybe it was a better quality of man who was living back then, who was willing to sacrifice their comfort, their home, who was willing to sacrifice potentially their life for the principles that they believed were foundational principles of freedom. And so that's the caveat, is because there may be more division now. There may be more issues and ways that the country is divided, and that the division may be just as clear cut now as it was back in the 1860s during that conflict. But maybe men are just not willing to go that far anymore. And maybe that's the caveat to it. And there's no doubt that those men who lived back then were rougher, tougher, better men than we are today.
Right. Well, I think it's obvious to see the evil that is behind the division now. When you read the history books, the only evil is you dive deep and see the tyranny in everything. And those men fought because their places were being invaded.
Yeah, but could you not say that everything that we have right now has been invaded? You don't own anything. Well, every aspect of your life is controlled. That's the purpose of an invasion.
But on tit for tat, comparing the two, it's not an invading force, like physical, saying I'm going to come and kill you and burn your house to the ground.
The FBI will do that.
Oh, but they're not doing it on a grand scale, like coming down from
I see what
Maryland all the way down through the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But you can't see the evil that was. The history books don't read you the evil on what was going on then. For me today, it's easy to see the evil that's dividing us. Because I'm living right here, right now.
I agree with you. I think it is easy to see the evil that's dividing us. But again, I think the biggest caveat is we as men are not willing to stand up to evil.
Yeah.
The evil that is dividing us, we are, as men, are not willing to stand up to it and fight for freedom and fight for what is our God-given rights, like those men were.
Yeah.
I just don't think we're willing to do it, man.
I agree.
I just don't think we're willing to do it.
I agree.
And so,
do you think what happened during January the 6th, 2020, do you think that's what was going on?
I do not. I don't think it's what was going on.
What do you think that was?
What do you think, Chili? You shook your head no.
Yeah, that's not what was going on there. That was that was I mean, I will get told that I'm parroting the legacy media by what I'm about to say, but I'm not basing this off of what MSNBC said about the Capitol riot. I'm basing it off of what I saw with my own eyes. It was a mix of literal nut jobs that were reading the dang QAnon forums on 4chan at the time that said, you know, John F. Kennedy was alive in Germany right now, and he was sending telegrams to Donald Trump telling him to dig tunnels underground to save children. I mean, that's literally what these people believed, something to that effect. They believed that. I mean, they believed Donnie T had the hard hat on. He traded in his McDonald's apron to go put the hard hat on to dig tunnels under Washington, D.C. to save the kids that Nancy Pelosi was eating. I mean, that's literally what they believed.
Oh, bubble.
I mean, you can read it. That's what the QAnon movement believed. I have met people that believe that. There was a mix of that and people that you saw walk into the Capitol with dang Viking horns on and costumes, and they were agent provocateurs in that audience. So it was a mix of literal whack jobs that certain online websites had stirred up and organized a million-man march for that day, because that January 6th, 2021 was the day that the election results were going to be certified. And Trump's vice president at the time, Mike Pence, was presiding over the Senate, and he had to be the one that certified it. Donald Trump said, "We're opening up lawsuits. Do not certify those elections, you freaking dog-faced pony soldier. If you do, I will be so mad." That's what he said. I'd be big angry, just big mad if you do that, Mike. And Mike was like, "Well, look, man, that's what the vote was. I'm going to certify it." So January 6th, Trump was holding a rally, just like any other rally. January 20th was coming when the president would be inaugurated. And January 6th, he said, "It's our last chance. We're going to march." He told them, "I want you to walk down to that Capitol. You need to go down to that Capitol and let your voice be heard and peacefully protest." He didn't say storm it, but he said, "I want you to go down there." And he told that to a group of, I don't even know how many people that were in that audience, that half of them believe Donald Trump is either daggum the Christ or he's digging tunnels under the DC to save the children. And then there was agent provocateurs in that crowd, people like Ray Epps and all the other names that you've heard. That's government. That's people that work for the government that in a mob like that start getting unruly to stir the rest of the crowd up. So if you watch what happens, people like that start saying, "We need to get in there. We need to go in the Capitol. We need to actually do something." And everyone else was like, "Yeah, you're right. Let's do it." And I believe between those little moments and there was a coordinated effort at some point. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it was pre-planned, but there was hardly any police force. There was hardly any National Guard. There was hardly any security over the Senate that day, even though they knew that was coming. And the ones that were there at some points are on video letting the people in. And then you see people breaking windows and doing whatever and getting in. Somebody gets shot. The whole ordeal happened, but people basically just walk around the Senate yelling, "God bless the USA" and MAGA 2020 or whatever. Like, it was just a bizarre day. Yeah. It was, the footage of it is insane. No, I don't. To call that an insurrection is ridiculous.
Yeah.
The men in that crowd were not planning on taking back the civil liberties that we've lost.
Yeah. So when I look at the January 6th thing, obviously Chili just shared a lot more detail on it, but I view that just as simply a mob.
Yeah,
a mob an unorganized mob of people who were easily influenced and instigated to do what they did, versus something like we saw in the 1800s during the conflict, which is called the Civil War by history, versus that was an organized and concerted effort. where men said, no, we're not going to participate in your game anymore. And we're going to actually form our own new government. And they did it in a very organized and practical fashion, right?
Right.
So yeah, in my mind, January 6th was just a mob. There was no organization to it whatsoever. And this kind of, the way Chili described January 6th is what made me make the comment the other day that Donald Trump is the most powerful man on earth. And so when I made that statement on a truck talk, many people would respond to that statement that I made and say, no, Donald Trump is not obviously there's people more powerful than Donald Trump. You know, the reason I say Donald Trump is the most powerful man on earth is because he can control what a large portion of the population will do. He's in control of people. People will follow him.
Yep.
They will do what he says, right? And that's why he's the most powerful man on earth, because I believe he is the man, the single at the highest level who could gather people and provoke them to violence if that's the course he wanted to take. And so we got some updates here. What's going on with the ticker over there?
Trump just took Arkansas, putting him at 101 electoral votes. Kamala just got New Jersey, putting her at 49.
No, nobody gives a crap about New Jersey.
Yeah.
Jersey Shore.
Do those states up there?
Snooki.
How many electoral college?
Polly.
Whatever representation or whatever comes from those little bitty states up there. Is it substantial?
Well,
New Jersey's got 14.
yeah,
14 versus what does Georgia have?
16.
16?
That whole wall right there, you see that whole that entire row right there on the edge of the tiny states will make up a significant amount. Not individually, but she's going to win every single one of them, and that's pretty significant.
Yeah. The interesting thing is,
Corn said, "Yeah."
Well, yeah. The interesting thing is Virginia and Ohio now are leaning toward Trump with 38% of their precincts coming in, and Texas is starting to lean for Trump.
So
I'm telling you, Virginia goes to Trump. We're gonna call this a night.
So I would be very surprised if Virginia goes for Trump. I lived in Virginia for about a decade. And you have to think about Virginia, when you look at the western part of the state, it's all country folks, it's mountain folks, but there ain't many people out there. All the people in Virginia are over on they're centralized around DC. There's a massive population. Right? That's the only area where the traffic can rival the Atlanta traffic.
Really?
Oh, it's terrible, man.
Yep.
So you've got the DC area, you've got Virginia Beach is super, super liberal.
Langley.
Yeah. So I would be very surprised if Virginia goes for Trump, but just because I lived there for so long and I saw just how pitiful people were around there. They just mope around. they don't want to work. They don't want to do nothing, man.
If it does, then there's been a marked shift in everything.
Well, the interesting thing is last time Trump won Miami,
which
is slap full of immigrants, Cubans, Haitians.
Well, he won Miami-Dade County, Corn. Let's be specific here.
Yeah. Latinos, and I would say, I don't know, I don't have those numbers, but he got 56.1%
in Florida.
That's
big.
He probably about had to win it this time.
That's not even close.
Yeah.
I see he's leaning in North Carolina now, but the thing is, it's awful early.
Well, and that's another reason the validity of these elections is like zero to me. Why in the crap?
Whoa, Corn, that's a big statement.
What? Look,
the validity of what?
Of the elections.
Whoa.
Look, all the early voting that went down, my ballot was counted 2 weeks ago, and Georgia still isn't in. Like, what time is it? It's 8:35.
Well, hold up, Bub. It might get in. It might be in sooner rather than later.
Well,
Just-
It's electronic.
well,
that's another question that I have for you guys because, yeah, and I
well,
agree.
none
with
of
you.
them are.
I
in.
agree with you. It's electronic. The result could literally be known instantly.
Exactly.
Instantly, it's literally counting as you put it in electronically, and those results could be uploaded to a single source literally within a millisecond.
I agree.
Okay.
Well, the people voted today as well.
Yeah, those can be counted instantly.
Oh, but not the ones that come in on the truck, Bub.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Okay.
Dad blasted truck. That's what happened last time.
Well, this leads me to a question about your experience at the polls today.
Well, it wasn't today. We both voted early, but
you still had to go to a place to vote early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lord, yeah.
Well, I forgot what my question was,
Okay.
but so let's. Hey,
Looking mighty red right now.
by the way, well, I mean, look, man, those states.
Pennsylvania, dude, he could win every state that you say. I mean, Pennsylvania's the key.
Yeah, he's got to have Pennsylvania.
By the way, I invited many people to join on this call today. And if you're listening and you were invited via my Instagram story, you can still join in on the call. Just shoot me a DM and we'll cut you in.
Basically, he's saying we invited a lot of people and nobody wanted to call.
Nobody is quite extreme enough, I think, to join the conversation here today.
I wanted politicians.
Well, I did invite Marjorie Taylor Green
Okay.
to join in on the call.
Who else?
I invited an Arizona congressman named Eli
Musk.
Crane. Eli Crane. No, he might be related to Eli Musk.
They got the same first name.
But
Gotta be related.
I don't know if they're related or not. But and I invited a couple other people because these questions are for everyone, and I want to dig right in to what people are probably wondering. Now, obviously, you see where we're at right now, but we got a long ways to go. What are your predictions? What are your predictions on this election?
I have had this. I have predicted that Donnie T would win this thing steadfastly. Have I wavered, Corn?
No, you ain't wavered a
I
bit.
have not wavered a bit. And I've even saved the map that I made long ago in the race to 270. Donald Trump wins 281 to Kamala's 257. I have it booked, son. Booked.
281.
Booked. 281. He wins Pennsylvania. He wins North Carolina. He wins Georgia. He wins Arizona. He wins in all of the places that you'd expect. He wins those swing states. Bam. He wins.
You know, a lot of people were talking about, well, how are these storms, this hurricane that passed through North Carolina, how is it going to affect the voting in North Carolina? Look, man, the places that hurricane hit, there ain't nobody living out there. There ain't enough. Those are sparsely populated areas, minus Asheville.
Well, yeah, Asheville's big.
But ain't nobody in Asheville voting for Donald Trump. Have you been to Asheville within the last 5 years? Because I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, if you thought Black Mountain was rough, Corn, you should have went to the Drum Circle in downtown Asheville. The Drum Circle in downtown Asheville.
What is that?
That Asheville, I went about 5 years ago, and let me tell you right now, it was an absolute cesspool, is what that city was. It was a cesspool. There were people freaking peeing and crapping on the sidewalks. There were people openly using drugs and trading drugs and freaking out there high dancing around in a drum circle. Ain't nobody in Asheville was going to vote for Donald Trump. Ain't very few people in Asheville had the cognitive ability to vote, period. At least that was my experience when I went to Asheville about 5 years ago. Maybe it changed since then.
I know for a while that North Carolina wasn't even requiring illegals to have a driver's license for a while.
Yeah, no, we do not like North Carolina. We do not like North Carolina. We used to run a course quite regularly out of North Carolina, and during the global scamdemic, that state was locked down, son. I mean, you couldn't move.
Bad.
And I think they have a Democratic governor.
North Carolina.
North Carolina has a Democratic governor. Yeah, they do.
Let me see who it is.
They do.
I don't know his
Yeah,
name.
because I looked him up when everybody was wondering about, you know, why aren't the people that got hit by this storm, why aren't they receiving the help they need? And I looked up who's the governor, and it was this freaking dumbhead.
Big Mama Kamala locked in Illinois.
Well, imagine that.
Yeah.
There's another state that I'm not kidding you. I was in St. Louis during coronavirus. I went out there to do the first episode that I did with Andy on Real AF, and for some reason I crossed over into Illinois. And Illinois,
because you have to.
Yeah, maybe that's why I stopped to get a daggone food at the Chipotle in Illinois.
To get a food. This is
Look, man,
wild.
I got out of my vehicle, and I'm not kidding you. I thought I was in a freaking movie scene, like where zombies had taken over the earth. I did. I literally thought I was in a movie scene. These people were so freaking scared. They were lined up in front of a Chipotle, and they were like 10 feet apart, and every one of them had 4 masks on their face, and they wouldn't talk or do nothing.
Yeah.
They just stood still, and the person in Chipotle would come out and just they would like crack the door open and set the burrito on the ground, and the person would walk up and get the burrito and walk away.
The person in Chipotle?
That state right there, Illinois, is a crap hole.
Well, that lady did that to me at the Cracker Barrel the other night. I said, I got a pickup order. I got these chicken tenders. And I said, do you have my name on there? And I told her my name. And then she looked at it and she grabbed the bag and she left it on the other counter and she just walked off. And I said, what the crap? You afraid of me? And then she just kind of looked at me and walked off. So I think that's just a people thing, man. That wasn't an Illinois thing. Some people are just odd.
It's good. Well, so
I'm not buying your anecdotes. In other words,
how much points did that give her for winning Illinois?
Illinois is 19 electoral votes.
19. That's a lot. Why is that so many? There's just so many people living there.
Yeah, I guess.
In Chicago. Yeah. Chicago somebody needs to set Chicago to far. Wow. And just let it burn.
Dang.
Dude, no kidding. I mean, I'm pretty sure the crime is so bad in Chicago. Well, I mean, it needs to be like, you know, in the Bible when God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. Like, hey, get the good people out of here, you know, because we're about to burn this place down. But the crime is so bad in Chicago, it's like an uninhabitable place.
Right.
You know, you can't work there. You can't. I mean, Pete was telling me, a good friend of mine that works in Chicago, there were people literally standing on overpasses and shooting people in their vehicle as they drove down the interstate and they went under an overpass. They would shoot them in their car.
Good night.
Yes, that was happening in Chicago. When a place becomes that lawless, you have just got to send somebody in there to just level it, son. You know, I mean,
right.
That's unrecoverable. You're not recovering that state right there, Illinois. You know, at least the city area. They got some beautiful farm country out there, and they got some good deer hunting and coon hunting. But yeah,
we do have some election news. We have the North Carolina governor race is already done for the night. We have Josh Stein, Democratic candidate, handily winning over Republican challenger Mark Robinson.
There was a race for governor in North Carolina tonight?
Yes, sir.
Where else are the governors being elected?
All over the country, Bo. Who are you? And where have you been?
I didn't vote for governor today.
Well, I mean, you should have voted down the ballot. I mean, we've got House seats, we've got Senate seats scattered.
I didn't vote for any of those.
Well, who'd you vote for?
I thought it was just a presidential election.
So they've already called the governor's race in North Carolina.
Oh boy.
They've already called the governor's race. That would be under the president. What the president would be at the top. You count that joker first, then the governor.
Thank you, Corn.
Well, I will say part of why the North Carolina you have to understand something, Cornbread.
I do. I understand numbers.
Okay.
You count them.
Corn. You have to understand here. Let me explain something to you. Part of why these states that you've seen be called. Now, give me that mouse. Do you see Kentucky and Tennessee here?
Yeah.
Look at Kentucky. How much has been reported?
69%.
And not talking to the mic.
69%.
Not Tennessee.
We're asking the man with glasses lenses that are thick as a Coke can to read the computer screen.
Yeah, thick as a Coke can.
Now Tennessee.
I mean, like the whole thing of a Coke can.
Yeah, say it again, Corn.
33.
Okay, now Georgia.
55.
Okay. So do you understand that those are all relatively similar amounts of reporting, and Tennessee and Kentucky have been called because they are not close. Georgia is close, so it's not been called. You understand that these swing states
55 to 44 ain't close to me.
55 to 44. You can't, dude. What if they haven't even done Fulton County, Corn?
Look, the bottom line is these things were done by a computer. They know who done whooped. They know who whooped.
So you need to say. So then okay, well, now you're getting into my theory. Would you like to hear my theory?
Yeah.
My theory is this race will be a Donald Trump victory, and it will be close in the reporting. What will happen is several of these states, namely Pennsylvania, will come down to tomorrow. We'll be talking about it. The next day, a week from now, we'll be talking about, well, there's cases in Pennsylvania still got to be worked out. It's looking like Trump won. This is a disaster. And they're going to do the exact same thing that happened in 2020, but it's the reverse side. See, what a lot of people don't understand is there's a 2.0 to every scandal. There was the Russian scandal, Russian hoax scandal against Donald Trump. Well, what you find is after you accuse one side of something, that then down the road, the other side gets caught or a scandal or litigation for the exact same thing. There's Hillary emails in 2016, and then they accuse Trump of colluding with Russia. Then there's Joe Biden's son working for a Ukrainian gas company and getting money from the big guy. Huh? All this just keeps going back and forth. 2016, when Trump won, Hillary, the freaking first thing she said was that he stole it. It's the first thing she said. And then she conceded. Well, in 2020, Trump was like, I didn't lose that. And he's still saying he didn't lose it. Well, guess what? He will win in this election. It will be manufactured to be a close race, in namely Pennsylvania. And then the Democrats will come out and say he stole this election. Georgia will be another state that is highlighted for this because of the elements that they put in Georgia to protect against voter fraud. Kemp was talking about it on TV the other day. He said, we've put in new measures to protect against voter fraud. And what the Democrats are going to say happened is that those measures took away the ability for some people to vote. And what that caused is Trump to win the election now in Georgia when he otherwise would not have won it. So technically, Trump has now stolen this election. That's exactly what they'll say. But all of that is not because they're actually against Trump stealing the election. It is because they want there to be parity in the election. They want there to be changeover. They do not. You cannot have the illusion of free and fair elections if a Democrat wins every single election. You cannot have it. If a Democrat wins the presidential election for 50 straight elections, you cannot say that we have free and fair elections. No one will believe it. No one would believe it. They would say, look how unpopular they are. We've tried to get a Democrat out of here for 50 years, and they keep getting elected in. How does this happen? Our votes clearly aren't counting. If you have the country start to question whether their elections are free and fair, if you want to give the illusion that you have democratic freedom in the United States, you have to have people believe that their votes matter and that their elections count. That's why they want everybody to vote. They want everybody to vote because it gives you the illusion of power, which keeps you subdued. if you have the illusion of power, some people say, well, we can't, people say it. We can't do nothing else, but we can vote. By God, we can vote. So get out
I've
to
done all I can.
I've done all I can. So get out to the polls and vote. But if you think that the only thing you have to be able to do is vote, and then you don't think that your vote counts, well, then you have nothing. That's when you get mad. That's when you get violent. So if you want to maintain the facade of voter integrity and election integrity, you have to have changes of power, and you have to then keep the scheme and the cycle going. So Trump will win, and they will accuse him of stealing the election. But by winning, that will ensure in everybody's mind that, okay, this must count because he won.
Yeah.
Biden won 2020.
No, I totally get that, man. I totally get that because I've even thought that in my own mind. I've thought, you know what? Okay. When we look at the current climate, when we look at the fact that Donald Trump went on the Joe Rogan podcast and it got 1 million views an hour for a whole day, and like it was the most, I'm assuming that was probably one of the biggest interviews that has ever even been produced. Like when you look at the current climate, you think there is no way that Kamala Harris can win this election. Like, if any of this is real, if it's real at all, there's no way she can win the election, right? And I've even thought, man, okay, if Trump wins this election, like that's going to restore my faith in the idea that our votes actually count, because that is the obvious thing that really has to happen, right? So I've even been subject to what you just explained. I've fallen for their trick. I fell for their trick because I've been thinking the same thing. If Trump wins, well, okay, yeah, then they must have counted the votes because that's obviously what has to happen, right? And so then they keep me pacified, just like everybody else, by tricking me into thinking that I actually have a say in the matter. Dang, that's genius, man.
Has there ever been an election that wasn't close that y'all?
Whoa! Who is that?
Whoa, Blake. Actually, there has. Yeah. Ronald Reagan against Walter Mondale was not close. It was not close. I mean, he won like, I think he literally won every state but 3 or 4. I mean, it was ridiculous.
What's this Chase guy that's running?
Chase Oliver?
Yeah, how's he doing?
Well, you voted for Chase Oliver.
Yeah.
How is Chase?
He's got 145,038 votes total.
He's doing pretty good.
That's making a wave.
He's doing pretty good. That's 145,000 votes.
That's
man.
all states.
I never even heard of that guy.
What is amazing is that
He
somebody
didn't even do as good a job as we did. We probably got more votes than him, Chili.
What's amazing is that nobody has ever even heard him speak a word, and he's got hundreds. I mean, that's a pretty big deal.
How did he get on there?
He has lots of good things to say. Y'all got to get up.
He's whooping Robert Kennedy.
He sure is, man.
Dang,
Jill Smith's whooping the both of them.
that's Jill Stein.
Jill Stein.
She's been on the ballot for years in the Green Party.
How's the Georgia governor doing?
It's not up this year.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's not up.
Yeah. So North Carolina once again has selected a Democratic governor.
Josh Stein.
What is going on in North Carolina, man? North Carolina used to be a mountain people, like country folks. Yeah. Where have all these people come from in these North Carolina specifically? But where have all of these daggone like peace and butterfly hippie drug addicts come from that have inundated these mountain towns and these states that have traditionally been conservative, freedom-loving American states? Where did they freaking come from, man?
They got tired of California and New Mexico and New York and all that.
That's what it is, ain't it?
Yeah. And then brought their same politics with them. The same politics that burnt those states are right back in North Carolina and burnt freaking Black Mountain. That place is cesspool.
Tell them about your experience at Black Mountain.
There's nothing there but witches and lesbians.
Yeah.
You could tell that was a quaint, awesome
Country town.
mountain town.
Yep.
And you can tell the people that's there ain't the people what grew up there.
No.
They got Mount Mitchell
Yeah, they do. They are. That's
Yeah.
the tallest mount there.
east of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was nothing there but gays.
Weird, ain't it?
And which
Just
like,
freaking weird,
yeah,
dude.
Yep.
Just
The
a
only
weird
store
place.
that was any count was that bike store.
Yeah, and it was even a little weird.
Yeah.
Well, so another interesting note for the night with the way this discussion has gone is the current governor in Virginia is a Republican. I don't know if you knew that, Chad. I think that would catch you by surprise. Glenn Youngkin is the current governor of Virginia, and he is a Republican. And as we said, the governor of North Carolina is a Democrat, Josh Stein. But there was a previous governor in Virginia, Governor Ralph Northam, and he is quoted as saying that he advocates and was pushing to pass legislation that would allow the decision of a doctor to kill babies that the mothers didn't no longer wish to have the pregnancy, kill them after they were born.
Wow.
He actually is on record saying that. You can look it up on YouTube. He's on a recording. It was in an interview where he said that. So I don't know. Maybe the people of Virginia have rejected that.
That's a good sign. I remember hearing a lot about the Ralph Northam guy. He was pretty freaking extreme.
That was when you were there, I believe.
Yeah, it may have been. I remember, for some reason, I remember when he got caught up in that blackface scandal.
Oh yeah.
Remember when they started getting everybody that dressed up as a blackface?
He did do that.
Like that was a big thing. That was kind of like the Me Too movement, you know?
Yeah.
It's like everybody that had ever done a blackface, you know, they were getting caught, and he got caught up in that. Yeah, I remember that extreme dude. It is interesting that Virginia did flip from him to a Republican governor.
Yep.
I believe that the governor is, I believe that's one of the most influential positions within politics in terms of the ability to influence the day-to-day life of citizens, you know, living within the state. I mean, it's a powerful, powerful position.
Right, yeah.
We saw that in COVID. What's that, Chili?
That's the governor race going on right now. We're tracking Republicans or Democrats.
It's half and half.
Half and half.
That's nationwide.
Yep.
Okay.
You know, isn't it funny how it's just two parties? Everything's just
that's something. Ain't
it's
it?
just two, man.
I wonder how that happened.
We got two. We got two for everything. If you're in the House or the Senate or a governor or a freaking mayor or a president or anything, it's just we got two choices.
You got that libertarian.
That's serious, ain't it? Chase Oliver.
It appears as if Chad's probably got 63,000 votes.
Where are you getting that?
The other candidate.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's man, you Chili.
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually got many messages today from our followers who did actually vote for us.
we
So
do have confirmed votes.
we know it was at least 63,000.
Whoa.
But hey, man, we're up to 70,000 now.
I do believe we have confirmed votes.
Oh, 100% we do.
Yeah.
All right, we're back to predictions.
Are we
So-
going to have a politician call in? I'm
Right.
getting bored.
Right. I can't wait. Well, we may hear eventually. I'm hoping Marjorie Taylor Greene will call in here in a little bit. She's lagging behind. I'm sure she's kissing the feet of Donald Trump right now, probably licking his big toe.
Oh my God.
If you know Marjorie, you know what I'm talking about. She loves to lick the feet of Donald Trump.
Oh.
Marjorie will lick I'm talking about she will get down in the crevices between his toes and lick that toe jam out. She savors it.
Like chump.
Yeah, she lives on that stuff. You know, you ever seen her? She's got big old muscles. That's the protein she gets from Donald Trump's toe jam.
Oh my God.
Nice,
Yeah, and Donald Trump does.
Don't let him talk about her like that, Corn.
Donald Trump actually, he hasn't cut his toenails in the last 8 years because Marjorie Taylor Greene will bite his toenails
Corn.
for him.
Now don't let him talk about her like
That's
that.
the only reason I voted to vote for her.
She bites his toenails off. She keeps them trimmed down
Okay, well,
while she's down there
if-
licking between his toes.
if Marjorie won't call in, will you tell us your voting story?
No, because we're still on predictions. We haven't gotten Corn's predictions for this election. And one of the interesting things about your prediction that I didn't know, Chili, is you don't think this is going to be over by the morning.
No.
You think this is going to get drug out for
Yeah.
days and days and days.
They set the precedent, man, with last year. You have to. Or not last year, last election. You almost have to. They've also done a lot of predictive programming in the news in the months leading up to this. They did it in 2022 with basically saying, "Oh, it's going to take a while because of this mail-in stuff. Like in these, it's going to take a while to count this stuff. I mean, it is. Oh, it's this. We've never seen this. We've never had to do it like this. It's going to take a while." They tried to tell you before the election happened that we won't have it. We're going to draw this out. We're going to draw this out. So this same thing leading up to this cycle, they've said this race is so tight. It's so tight. If it's within half a percentage point, we can't call it. We've got to drag it out. It's so tight, man. It's tight. So, and all the polls are showing that they're neck and neck. They're neck and neck in the swing states. It's 50-50 in the swing states. It's 50-50. So that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And,
isn't that interesting? It's just dead even.
Dead even.
50-50.
50-50. But see, that's believable, man.
What?
Whoa. We got a big update. The Dakotas have come in hard for Trump.
The Dakotas, Nebraska.
Holy crap. 3 in a row, like immediately.
4.
Do your job, Corn.
Louisiana, too.
Do your job.
Them folk down there in the bayou.
Good
But
night.
both the Dakotas, Nebraska, and Louisiana said, "Come on back to the house, Big Daddy Trump."
Well, I'm going to go ahead and tell you that there probably weren't many electoral college votes coming out of North Dakota, South Dakota,
They just got
and Wyoming.
South Dakota.
Wyoming has 3.
Okay,
electoral
Wyoming, 3 electoral votes versus a little freaking crap hole like New Hampshire.
votes. 5 from
5
Nebraska.
from Nebraska.
5 in Nebraska.
5.
Well, see, Nebraska and Maine are unique states because they will actually have split.
So
They-
what
they
was
have-
South Dakota and North Dakota?
They were
Nobody
3
cares.
each. 3 each, and Louisiana's 5. And
So that's like nothing.
Okay, well, there was a lot of talk that what happens if in the event of a tie, you have to have 270 electoral college votes to win. What happens if there's 269? And the thing is that that is a real possibility. If it's as tight as they say, and if it's as split as they say, then the fact that Maine and Nebraska have split electoral college votes. So what'll happen is
What do you mean by that?
what I mean is they have separate districts in each of those states. They're the only 2 that are like this. So Nebraska will win the state at large, basically like every other state, but then there's split districts. And there's a historically Democrat district in Nebraska and a historically Republican district in Maine. So Maine will go to Kamala and Nebraska will go to Trump, but they should each win a district in those states and get another electoral college vote. So Nebraska
It's a
has
good thing they didn't make that confusing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like the tax code.
Yeah,
It is
Yeah.
crazy.
it's a good thing they made this simple.
Yeah. So Maine has 2 outside of the state that like the state at large that can win it, and Nebraska has 3. So should be very interesting to see who wins those, because if it was gonna whoa, Chad.
Sorry, I got underwear on and I'm not used to wearing underwear.
Kamala got Vermont just a little bit ago.
Well,
Vermont, that's Bernie Sanders, right?
Corn, she got Vermont when we walked in. I mean,
Oh yeah, she did. But wasn't we talking the other day that New Hampshire, they was predicting that Trump could possibly win New Hampshire?
Yes. Has New Hampshire been called for her?
No,
Okay.
they're sitting at
They only-
33%.
New Hampshire's the live free or die state, man.
Yeah.
The live free or
Wasn't it,
die state.
ABC that already released the results of several swing states.
Yeah. Yeah, that's bad.
Wow.
Yeah. It's
Wow.
bad.
Where'd you hear about that, tech guy?
It's all over. They had the banner running at the bottom of their news show, and it had a check mark next to Kamala winning a bunch of the swing states.
Holy crap.
I got
dude.
I got to go Tinkle.
Holy crap.
Now that
You got to do what?
Tankle. Now that could happen because look, my whole theory just goes out the window if Kamala wins the election. I mean, everything I said is just crap, which that could happen.
Well, I mean, looking at it right now,
I mean, I could be dead wrong.
she's got 99
Well, here's the deal.
electoral
Well,
college
Chad,
votes.
looking at it right now, not one thing on this map is surprising. I mean, not one thing. You need swing state results to be able to tell anything.
So can you explain to
Probably not.
the lay people the purpose of the electoral college, please? Because a lot of lay people don't understand. Why don't we just go off the popular vote?
Well, I am a lay person as well, but
You're the smartest one we have here, though.
well, that's not true. But I am a lay person, so I should be good at explaining to the lay person that, see, there's a thing called a democracy and a thing called a republic. And a lot of people will tell you, now remember, kids, the United States is not a democracy. It is a republic, which means we protect against what is known as the tyranny of the majority. So the tyranny of the majority means...
Or mob rule.
Mob rule, yes. It means that if there is 200 million votes and 1,000,001 vote for a certain thing, that will win. That is popular vote. That is majority wins, majority rules, done. Well, our founding fathers, in their infinite wisdom, decided that was not the way that they wanted to set up the country. That's not the way they wanted to set up voting. That's not the way they wanted to set up legislation. So they divided the government into 3 branches, checks and balances, blah, 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 separation of powers. And how we're going to run the presidential election is through a series of electors that will cast their vote on good faith to the majority, to according to what the majority of their state.
Who are these electors?
It's just people.
Okay,
it really is just people.
These aren't the.
Whoa!
Holy crap!
Who is that?
This is Marjorie, dude. This is Marjorie Taylor Green calling in.
This is real big.
Holy crap! Let's see if
can you hook it up? Screw the electoral college vote. Anyway, it's kind of maybe she can explain it.
Hello. Hold on just a second, Marjorie. I gotta try to get you coming through on the machine here. Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Is this Chad?
Marjorie, I cannot believe. Yes, I can't believe that you called in. We actually just got done. We actually just got done talking about how great you are as our congresswoman here in Georgia, Marjorie.
You represent Floyd County so well.
You represent us so well. We're so thankful that you called in. Our co-host Chili here was just explaining to us the Electoral College. Marjorie, do you know what the Electoral College is?
Yeah, I sure do. I'm sorry I called so late. I just rode my horseback from Chili's there in Rome. And my husband said I was supposed to call in, and yes, I know exactly about the Electoral College, Chad.
Well, that's good, Marjorie. Are you going to be, I'm glad to hear that you at least know that, because if you didn't know that, I was going to tell you to make sure you tune in the show as Chili continues to explain this. But Marjorie, I want to ask you, are you going to be spending any time licking Donald Trump's feet tonight?
Oh, Chad, I don't know why you would talk about that at all. I've got to do some power cleans here in a little bit, and I thought I'd be courteous and give you a call on your show here.
Marjorie, I'm not trying to be a...
Look, this is the most important election of all time.
Marjorie,
if Trump don't win, there's going to be hurricanes every other month. The Democrats are going to make their hurricanes every other month, and they're going to destroy the South. They're going to destroy the South. If they can change the South, they change the world, Chad.
Marjorie, you are so passionate about what you do, Marjorie, and I love a passionate person. I want you to know I'm not trying to be offensive when I talk about or when I tell people about how you lick the toe jam from in between Donald Trump's toes. That's actually an honor.
It's clear to me that you're jealous about my relationship with Donald Trump, just like everybody. We ride horses together, we play golf together. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if he don't get in, we're all gonna die together, Chad. Is that what you want? You want America to die?
Marjorie, I think you're being a little dramatic now, Marjorie. Look, you know, I've been following you on Instagram for a long time. I actually saw you the other day at Aventine begging for money with one of your constituents. Okay.
Now, I was there. I seen you too, Chad, and I thought it was very disrespectful for the way you talked about me. You didn't even get up and apologize. Did you know I power clean 230 pounds?
Marjorie, Marjorie, I voted for you. Why are you so offended by everything that I say? I understand you're a good CrossFit athlete. I understand that you're strong, that you're fit. You shouldn't be ashamed of the fact that you licked Donald Trump's toe jam. And everybody here voted for you, Marjorie. You don't have to call in. Chili voted in Paulding County for you this year.
I did. I voted in Paulding County for you.
Yeah, Marjorie, we love you around here. We want you to come on the show live.
As my constituent, what do y'all think needs to be done? I'm here serving you, Chad. And I'm serving you too, Chili.
What? I mean,
I tell you what, if you keep talking to me like this, the next time I see you, I'll grab you by your beard and I'll power clean you.
holy crap, Marjorie. You have come on this show and you've gotten so hostile with me, and all I've tried to do is compliment you. Chili, if you could tell Marjorie to do one thing in Congress, which Marjorie, what do y'all even do in Congress? Because it seems to me like all you do in Congress is you guys all meet up, you form committees about every little thing, and you never actually do anything. What do you even do in Congress other than post on Instagram?
I am up there fighting for your livelihood, Chad. For your livelihood.
Marjorie, you've never done anything that. Look, Congress doesn't. You guys don't do anything but post on Instagram. You post on it.
Speak for itself.
Look, all you guys do in Congress is post on Instagram and go do podcast interviews. That's all you guys do. What is even your purpose? You tell me you're here to serve me, and you ask me what is the one, what do I want you to do for me? Well, you don't do anything but lick the feet of Donald Trump.
Most recently, I'm fighting this current administration creating all these hurricanes. There's another one down there in the Gulf right now. It's screwed up, and it's headed for the south.
Well, look, Marjorie, you are being way too hostile on this call. You can calm down, and you can call me back in a little bit, all right? Because
I've got to do my power cleans anyway.
Go do more butterfly pull-ups and eat at Aventine.
Yeah, maybe you'll be able to come back and actually talk some sense, Marjorie.
Fire-breathing dyke.
Enough said. Good night. That was rough right there, son.
Jeez.
Can't believe that she would call in and be disrespectful like that to us.
We needed Corn to friggin'... Was he still pissing?
I guess. I don't know where he went.
Yeah.
He could have. He's probably crapping. He could have set her straight.
I wish he would have been in here. Good night, man.
A lot's happened. We got Trump up to 137.
Well, all right. Well, when Cornbread comes back in, we'll let him run over that with his Coke bottle glasses. You were explaining the electoral college, Chili.
Well,
before Marjorie called and interrupted the whole dang show.
The electoral college. Ultimately, the best way to explain it, because I am a lay person, so it's going to be difficult for me to explain it, and I am explaining it to the lay people. Whoa.
The crap just happened, man. I didn't see what happened there.
So
that's his wedding ring. Okay.
So the electoral college. There's Corn. You missed Marjorie Taylor calling in. Yeah.
Yeah, you missed that, CB. She kept talking about the weather. She was hung up on the weather. And like everything that I was trying to say to her, I told her we all voted for her, and I told her like I tried to tell her we're not being disrespectful. But she was being very hostile, and the only thing she could say is that if Donald Trump didn't win, the Democrats were going to send more hurricanes and destroy the South.
Dad bump, son.
Yeah.
I called her a fire-breathing dyke, and she hung up.
Wow.
Good night. Chili's in the middle of describing the electoral college, and then we're going to go to the map.
Whoa, read that, Corn.
177 for Trump. He got Texas and Ohio. Get you some of that.
And Indiana. Has he had Indiana?
Yeah.
He got Texas for 40 electoral votes
Wow.
and Ohio for 17.
Wow. Texas is big.
Yeah. Kamala got New York.
Well, she's had New York for a while.
Did she?
Yeah.
Okay.
And she won. She got New York by like a landslide, didn't she? What's the percentage on that?
Yeah.
71% versus 28.
Wow. With only
Whoa.
17%.
There was some people talking about Trump might make New York close.
That's like a landslide.
Yeah.
What the crap are people doing up there, man?
Really, he needs to get out of there.
Yeah, he's in Long Island. And
Um,
friggin' Tennessee.
so Trump just went to 177 because of Texas
And
and
Ohio.
Ohio. How many electoral college votes does Ohio have?
It has 17.
17. So that's like more than North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, and Wyoming combined.
Right. Yep.
Dang, that's a big hit. And, why is Kamala still at 99? Oh, why have none of these states? Okay, these states on the West Coast, I guess because they're in a different time zone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to take how many electoral college votes did California go?
54.
54?
54 is based on population.
Holy crap, dude.
Yep. 54. It's the most populated state.
Wow.
You can go ahead and pencil in Alaska and Hawaii down there.
Yeah.
That'll be Democrat, Hawaii, Republican, Alaska. That's guaranteed.
Corn, we haven't got your predictions yet. What's going to happen with all this, man?
I predict that.
By the way, we literally lost like 500 viewers when Marjorie called in.
Oh my
Really?
gosh.
Like,
Good
so you know
night.
what, Marjorie? Screw you. We lost like 500 viewers when you called
Good
in, Marjorie.
night.
With your
Whoa.
hostile attitude, you called in to a serious show, election coverage, and you wanted to talk about some stinking weather conspiracy, and we lost 500 viewers because of you.
Good.
Dude,
night.
are you serious?
Yes.
500? Oh my God.
Dad bum.
That's that's what happens, man, when you
Boy.
let people like that come in on your show.
She moves the needle, don't she?
Marjorie brought the heat, son.
That's exactly what happens when you let people like that call.
Oh
in
my
the show.
gosh, I see that. We did.
Sick of it.
Big Daddy Trump's going to win.
Whoa.
Yeah.
But okay, earlier, do you know that you're quoted as earlier saying that the elections are
I'll
invalid?
be right back, boys.
Yeah. And
Get him on that prediction. I want to.
Okay. Did you mean that?
well, the validity of it.
That's
I'm
what
on I'm on the fence about it.
Have we crept into your mind and started making you question?
No. I've
Oh.
always thought if so many people early vote, why
Yeah.
in the world does it take so long to count them?
So
You
kinda-
can't tell me that they don't have a system already rigged up to count all these paper ballots, these absentee ballots. That's not efficient.
Yeah.
That's not efficient.
They don't count those.
Yeah, they just say these are Democrat. What they do, they don't even open them.
Put
Yeah.
them in the truck.
Yeah. I'm going to say Trump's going to win. That's my prediction, period. But if I'm wrong and Kamala wins, it's going to be rigged a different way, an unforeseen way than it was last time. What that is, I don't know.
Wait, what?
I don't think they will do it the same way again. If Kamala does win,
Uh-huh.
I don't think it's going to be, well, there was 100,000 votes brought to Fulton County
Oh, right.
late of the night.
Well,
and-
I don't think it would be either. I mean, it's because, for one, that was telegraphed 4 years ago with the mail-ins that, I mean, nobody ever explained why the mail-ins that were so high 4 years ago were counted the way they were. You know what I mean?
Right.
Absentee ballots. I mean, that,
Right.
that was bizarre. But anyway, no, you can't do it the same way.
Yeah.
But your prediction is that Trump will win.
Right. Yeah.
But do you have an electoral college count prediction?
No.
You just agree with mine?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, all right. What do you think, Blake? Who's going to win?
Well, I have a unique perspective. I don't think we'll actually get results.
Nate, okay, and I will defend you. You have said that for a long time.
So we had the election. I said we weren't, but people did vote. But what I really mean is that we won't get results.
Correct.
Well,
yeah, if you don't have results,
election.
you don't have an election.
Yeah.
And you've always said we won't have an election. So
yeah. So all y'all are just going on about all this. I'm just sitting over here like,
It's deal season.
Yeah, y'all gonna wake up in the morning and be looking, Googling who won the election, and you ain't gonna have no result.
What do you think about that, Chill? I guess that's a possibility.
well,
Okay, this leads me into something actually.
Okay.
All right. So Corn predicted Trump is gonna win. I also don't have a prediction. I actually know who's going to win, and I'll tell you how in a minute. But this leads me into something. What Blake just said. He doesn't think we're actually going to get any results from this election. That something's gonna go haywire, and it's not gonna go smooth like we're anticipating it. You know what, Chili? I was really happy. I was really surprised that nothing happened in October. I was really surprised
that was your October surprise.
Yeah, I was really surprised. I mean, it's whatever, September, especially October, but like this whole last about 6 months.
There was one. There was a big event.
What's that?
It switched from Biden to her.
Well, that's a good point.
I mean, that was the big
but I guess I was more anticipating like another lockdown, scamdemic, a world war, a nuclear attack somewhere in the in the world, like something big that would shake and rattle and screw everything up, right? I'm really surprised. I mean, because I think we've been feeling, I don't know, I guess I'll speak for myself. I've been feeling for like a long time. It's just like this eerie, like calm before the storm. What's the thing that's going to happen, right? What's the next thing like what we experienced all in 2020 and 2021, but nothing happened, man. What the heck? I see what you're saying. There was a flip between, it went from Biden to Kamala, but nothing compromised this whole election thing from being able to be conducted in a normal manner.
I'm telling you, man, if the more that happens, the more I mean, this goes along with my theory. Now I could be incorrect, but you will lose people's hope in their elections. You will lose the
So you're saying they can only pull that every so often?
If every time there's ever an election, even the ones in between, in the off years of like when 2026 rolls around and 2020, I mean, you can't have that instability every time, or people will be convinced that their vote doesn't count. You can't have that nationwide if you want to maintain this. I've said for a long time as well that we will not have the type of major instability that a lot of people predict caused by the government. They want that to not happen. They want instability on the level that we've had it. If it goes beyond that, then they lose control.
Yeah.
You have to have.
Well, COVID was perfect.
It was perfect. You have to have controlled chaos and something that they can put their finger on, something that they can manipulate with their breath. If you don't have that, then they lose control. So how we, if you look at the Chinese model and the model that many people, including myself, think is headed for the U.S. as telegraphed by all of the world meetings, the United Nations meetings, all of the meetings that the U.S. has, World Economic Forum, they want tightly packed cities, smart cities where everything that you own is electronic and tracks you and has a camera and has a recording device. And
like Eli Musk,
and you don't
pushing for,
and you don't have. Once again, I've said it a million times. They're not pushing you to electric vehicles. They're pushing you to not be able to privately own a car or a home. All of that is a part of the plan. So you don't want major instability of that. You want to slowly migrate people into those areas. And yeah, they will avoid massive
to massive chaos. Like they will avoid chaos
as much as possible.
Yeah.
Now they want wars like we have. I mean, look, you probably don't even know much about the policies of Dick Cheney, but Dick Cheney was a daggum devil to the Democrats 20 years ago. I mean, he was the warmongering devil of the Democratic Party. They used him as the dang scapegoat. They hated him. And all he wanted to do was go to war, man. Just go to war and make that money. And he did it. And they were successful at it. Well, that has become the Democrat policy, basically. They're freaking warmongers. They love that there's war in Ukraine right now. They love that there's unrest in Israel. They want to freaking fund it. They want to keep sending money to Ukraine, keep sending money to Israel, and keep sending weapons and keep selling those guns and ammunition. That's what they want to keep doing. So Dick Cheney threw his support behind Kamala. Like the fact that Dick Cheney, if you told somebody 20 years ago that he would endorse the Democratic candidate for president, people would literally, I mean, you would have thought the world had just went upside down.
You know what this reminds me of?
What?
The WWE.
It is the WWE. It is. Donald Trump is he's the perfect WWE.
Dude, I literally saw a video of Donald Trump slapping Vince McMahon.
Yeah,
he did that
on the WWE.
He's an actor. I mean,
did everybody forget about that?
No, I remember.
This is the whole thing is just like wrestling, dude. The whole thing you just described about Dick Cheney is just like Hulk Hogan going to the NWO.
He turned, man. He turned.
This is wrestling.
Yeah, it is.
We're in this is a wrestling thing, man.
Yep. 100%.
Holy crap.
But what I'm saying is they want those types of regional conflicts. They want a little bit of war in Russia and Ukraine, a little bit here, a little bit here. You know, China will get involved here soon. Who knows what'll happen with Taiwan? Trump. Corn knows all about that, right? Taiwan.
I don't know all about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You know about the Abraham Accords?
Yeah. I know all about it.
Trump brought that peace, boy.
That's right.
So
this is really just like wrestling.
It really is. So
why have we never drawn that similarity?
They're entertainers. Marjorie Taylor Greene's a heck of an entertainer. She's kind of like who's she kind of like?
This is like a script that would be written in the WWE. This is crazy, man.
Donald Trump just went on the Undertaker's podcast and they talked about wrestling
with Matt Lyda.
And he's in the middle of a presidential campaign and he was talking about wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, he literally punched Vince McMahon in the face in the ring.
Yeah.
It was epic.
Anyway.
Well, hold on. Where were we at here?
They want to go to war, man. That's how you make money.
Yeah.
But you don't want it to turn into a world war because then it gets bad. That's
the
long and short of it.
I see what you're saying. But where were we at? Was Cornbread supposed to talk about something?
Yeah, he's supposed to give his prediction, and he did.
Donald Trump.
We wasn't going to have an election.
Yeah, and Blake said we weren't going. Blake said we weren't actually going to get results from this. Now, in that case, I
disagree with that.
Where does your prediction go from that point? War. Joe Biden, we don't even know if he's still alive. Is Joe Biden? Do we even have a president right now?
See, what happens in the WWE when like Triple H gets injured is you have to write him out of the storyline for a few months. That's Joe. And Joe's injured right now.
You guys are a bunch of pieces of garbage. All three of y'all.
But when Joe heals from his ACL tear, they'll write him right back into the script. And he'll power slam Donald Trump or something. So that's what's coming.
Bunch of peasants.
Do we even? That's a legitimate question. Would you consider, viewers, answer this question in the chat? I'm watching the chat. Do you even think that we have a president at this point? Is the United States at this moment? Do we even have a freaking president? Because yeah, I agree with you guys. I see you're all saying no. This is a really weird thing. This is really weird. Like we are as a nation right now, we are in this weird place where we don't even really freaking have, who's our president? We don't even have leadership. Like, who's freaking in charge of this wrestling show,
Chili,
man?
What would it be like replacing Biden with Kamala?
What?
What would it be like replacing Biden with Kamala?
What do you think?
Hold on. You're not asking the questions,
Yeah,
tech
yeah.
guy.
What do you think?
I think it'd be like crapping your pants and then changing your shirt.
Hold on. I just got a message from Andy Stump here on Instagram. Let's see if Andy wants to call in.
He won't call, man. This show's too lowbrow.
The other source updated is Kamala at 117 and Donald Trump at 195.
Yeah, Corn, I've got a much more accurate map right
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
Why hadn't you told him that?
Yeah.
Chili, you over there letting him.
Does that have the same number?
No, I've got Trump 203, Kamala 184.
Huh.
But see, look, you can go ahead and call California, Oregon, Washington for her.
Right.
You can go ahead and call some of these, you know. I mean, we need to pare it down to a little bit more accurate already. I mean, geez, we've got 7 swing states to monitor. If it ain't news about Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, or Michigan, Wisconsin, then I don't want it. Forget it.
All right. So did you guys want my we got y'all's predictions, right?
And what's yours?
Well, here's the thing. I don't even have a prediction. I know who's going to win this election.
okay.
Because you don't know this. None of you guys know this because I didn't tell you. I actually met a prophet.
Had a dream.
No, I met a prophet at the spring where I collect water the other day. Okay. He was down there. He was collecting water, and very nice man. What happened?
No, it's just the same.
And I strike up a conversation with this individual, and he begins to talk to me about cryptocurrency, Chili.
Oh, jeez.
And he's really laying it out there. I mean, he's telling me all about this cryptocurrency. And then he proceeded to tell me that Donald Trump will, in fact, be the next president of the United
Been
States
trying to tell you.
because God is not done with America. That's what he said. And I'm going to tell you right now, this guy was serious. Like, he was serious.
Yeah.
So I've heard it from a prophet at the well that Donald Trump is going to be the next president because God is not done with America.
Is he a self-proclaimed prophet or?
I'm proclaiming him. He prophesied that to me.
Okay.
I mean, somebody who's standing there prophesying something to you, what else you gonna call him?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He was prophesying about all the cryptocurrency too.
Yeah.
He had all kinds of stuff, man.
Yeah.
This joker was deep.
Yeah.
And when you meet a man like that at the spring,
Yeah.
you better listen.
Yeah.
All right. And that's what he told me. And so apparently God is going, according to this feller, if we're going to consider him a prophet, God is going to wield Donald Trump as a tool to restore America.
There you go.
So
Well, all right. Would you like to tell us about your experience voting?
I'll get to that in just a second because I had a wild experience voting today.
You've
all right?
also your story has not stayed straight so far, so I'm really hoping for a clarification because you said you didn't even know that you could vote for anybody but the president, and you told Marjorie Taylor Greene that you voted for her.
Well, I meant you guys voted for her. I meant you guys voted for her. What if here's my next question for you guys.
I could do this all night. It feels like we just started. We're an hour and a half in.
What if Kamala Harris wins?
Well, then I'll be dead wrong. Everything I've said just
What
goes out the window.
what are things going to look like for the next 4 years? What are things going to look like in America? What if Kamala Harris wins?
Well, I'll be
This is
sad.
a question for you guys too, viewers. What if Kamala wins?
Well, I'll be sad in the Chili household.
What's going to happen?
Because I predicted she'd lose, but not a whole lot different than if Trump wins, to be perfectly honest with you.
Okay, expound upon that, Chili.
Well, see, this kind of piggybacks on my theory that it doesn't really matter, and they just select who they want for social reasons. So I believe that I tend to think that even if I have a miscalculation on who that will be, what they will do is not going to be very different. But I don't know. I could be wrong, man. I could be wrong. These elections and who's in power may matter way more than I think. Like, Corn disagrees with me a lot on that. Like, you definitely think who's in office matters a heck of a lot more than I do. Like,
Yeah.
Like you said the other day that certain politicians like Ted Cruz in Texas and whoever else, I mean, they make a legitimate difference. And I mean, that would be a heck of a lot better if that was true. I mean, because the way I tend to think, and I'm not 100% sure about anything, but it's like, that's a very bad outlook. I mean, there is no hope in that look for the actual country to get any better. The hope is only in, the ultimate outcome. But that's just kind of how I think. I mean, I think if Donald Trump wins.
No, if Kamala wins.
Yeah, but if Donald Trump wins, it would look not really any different than if she does. I mean, ultimately, it never does. Ultimately, the size and scope of the federal government grows every year, regardless of who's president. The national debt increases by trillions, no matter who's president.
Man.
We have examples of the Biden-Harris administration for the last 4, Trump for the previous 4. What really looks that different? If you take the news out of it, if you take the social, what the media is telling people to get mad about, like, Trump didn't do anything racist to anybody, but they just tell you that he did. I mean, if you take all of that out, what's very different? I mean, the economy's worse under the Biden-Harris administration. I don't like that. I mean, my money doesn't go as far. I don't like that. That's a lot different. I'd rather that be changed.
But that's also an interesting conversation. You say the economy is worse with the Trump and Harris.
With Biden Harris.
Biden Harris. I just said Trump and Harris.
Good. Nice.
Maybe that's what'll happen. Maybe Blake's prediction will be right. Maybe they'll just look. Maybe they'll just join forces and become the NWO. And they'll say, we don't need an election, guys. Because,
unity.
Yes, because Trump and Harris are joining forces to become the NWO.
Unity.
The New World Order.
Blake, you're on to something, man.
Unity.
You are okay. Yeah, you say the economy has been worse, and a lot of people say that. But I wonder how much, if there's any way you couldn't calculate it, but I wonder how much the economy is actually influenced by the propaganda that people are being fed by the media. Right? How much are people in terms of how they're spending, how they're trading, what they're doing, where
Wall
they're going.
Street certainly is, yeah.
Yeah. How much of that is influenced by some presidential administration versus, I mean, I think both have some effect on it, but how much versus just this is what people are being fed. You better not, things are getting hard times are coming. You better hold on to your money. And then the freaking economy dumps and nobody's working.
Well, to a degree, that certainly is the case. That's primarily going to be Wall Street, though, and the stock market and speculation. But, I mean, our money went further with Trump as president. I mean, the Harris administration want to talk about Bidenomics was working and this and that. I mean, The fact of the matter is, you can compare a daggum grocery bill at Walmart of the same items, and it's freaking tripled.
Yeah, you're right.
And gas, I can look at the price of gas, and
Well,
I can
that
look- and
affects
I can-
everything.
I can look at the the taxes that Trump had, the codes he wrote in 4 years ago versus now. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, yeah, the economy, as far as how I measure it, is way worse now, and I don't like that. But see, to me, that's not. I just look at things different than people. I don't look at like, man, I want Trump in because he's going to make the economy better, and I can't have these Democrats because they're idiots. Like, no, man, they know exactly what all of their decisions are going to do for the economy. The Harris administration doesn't. It's not like they propose policies that they think will be better for you, and it turns out that they're not, and that Trump believes he makes policies that will be better for you, and they turn out to be or not to be. No, they know exactly what everything's going to do. It's all just the back and forth, man. The pendulum swing.
Yeah.
That's intentional. I mean, that's absolutely intentional. The overall economy was better under Trump, but it was worse than it was 20 years ago. That's the ultimate thing. No matter who's in power,
Yeah, that's a good
we're
point.
going downhill
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
Every time. And the government got more in debt and
bigger.
under both.
Yeah. So let's see what the viewer said. What if Kamala Harris does win this election? She's still sitting at 99 electoral college votes right now, by the way. What if Kamala Harris, what the crap is that?
He's on the phone.
Oh, he's talking to Donald Trump.
Donald Trump's in Mar-a-Lago.
Let's see what the viewer said. What if Kamala Harris wins? Likely.
You have not said a name right once tonight.
What I call
Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris. What if she wins? World War III, likely.
There you go.
Not good. God save us. Let's see. We will be on the bread line. Now,
But you know what's funny? Biden has been president for 4 years.
and you ain't on the bread line.
I mean, like, I'm not saying it's good. I don't want her to be president, but you're not going to be on the bread line unless, if you are, you were going to be under Big Daddy Trump.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
The,
If you're headed for the bread line, you're going to wind up in the bread line.
either way.
Here's someone that agrees with you, Chili. Jimmy says same old same old crap.
Yeah.
That's what's going to
There
happen.
you go.
Bruce said he won't be buying anything if Kamala Harris wins.
Kamal O'Hara.
What is going on?
Wait,
Eli must be.
Waylon Richards says there better be a revolution if Kamala Harris wins. She's going to legalize drug addicts. Stuff will get
What?
even more gay. Jack is being open if she wins. So a lot of people really think, what if Kamala wins? I mean, a lot of people think it's going to be really, really dismal. You know what? It's a shame that people put so much emphasis on other people controlling their lives. It's really a shame that that is the mindset of people. The mindset of people is, if this person is in power, then my life has to suck. Like, that's just not the way that I think, man. Like, that's the way that I think is, I don't give a crap who is elected as president. I am going to find a way, right? I'm going to succeed. I'm going to innovate. I'm going to find a way to solve a problem that needs to be solved, to provide a service that needs to be provided, to create a product that people need and want to use, right? It's really, really a shame that you think your entire life and your existence literally hinges upon a single human being. That's a sad state of affairs. What about you, Cornbread? What if Kamala?
Yeah, what do you think? Like, how
What's it going to look like? Well,
Well, she's essentially been in there for 4 years anyhow. Now, I'm not saying she's been pulling the strings. I think she's just part of the whole machine. And what has happened when she has been in there, especially with the economy, is definitely worse than what was before she got out of there.
Yeah.
So I can't see it getting much better. it would probably take 4 years for it to get better, regardless whether or not she fixed it or just the American train fixed it. You know what I mean? The American people themselves just not worrying about it, which is very few people, in my opinion. So I would think it would either stay the same and or get worse. The difference, I believe, between Kamala and Trump, that was my economic difference, but in world affairs is big time different. Trump is a deal maker. A deal maker. Whether it's for peace or not, he is a deal maker. I could bet I would bet what I got in my pocket and in the console of my truck right now that if he gets in, that war in the Ukraine will be over in 2 months. I guarantee it. But caveat, I bet you that China still takes Taiwan in
He'll
5
give it to
months
him.
without our involvement,
He'll give
without
it to
any
him.
military conflict.
Exactly. He'll make a deal with
Within
that.
5 years. It may even be after he gets out. And the Israel thing, it's going to be simmered way down so they can build their temple if Trump gets in. It's going to happen regardless.
Look, Cornbread, I asked you what if Kamala, okay? The next question it was what if Trump, okay?
Yeah.
So you've just skipped over.
That's what I do.
Okay. you just say what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's the difference. Kamala ain't going to do nothing. And can I say we're going to go to World War III? I don't know that. I don't give a crap if we do. Drop every dang nuke. You give me an easy way to go to Jesus. I don't give a crap. World War III ain't even on my mind. But nuke the whole dang country right now. That's easy, bud. See you. The whole world. So I don't even think about, whatever on that. But that's the only thing Kamala can mess up is the economy. What else is she going to do? The world's going to do what it does anyway.
Corn don't give a crap if we nuke the whole
She can't help the world. Period.
So, okay. Well, the flip side of that, and I want to hear from you guys who are watching right now too, live, what if Donald Trump? What if we get Donald Trump? What if he wins this election? How is the world and how is the world and how is this country going to change over the course? What the crap?
What?
I just saw something on the screen. It looked like it's like a freaking ghost, dude. It just walked in front of this camera.
Oh boy.
Did y'all see that? Viewers, did you guys see that?
Here we go.
My internet's down on my phone.
Oh boy.
Well, hold on, for real, YouTube. Did you just see something walk in front of that camera?
I was about to give
I literally just looked at this camera and something daggone walked. Yeah, they saw it. Yeah, they saw it. No crap, dude.
There's been lots of ghosts on cameras where I'm from.
No crap. I just looked at I just
Alabama.
looked at my phone and something walked in front of that camera right there. And it literally went across the screen. The camera was on you guys. Something went across in front of that camera. And you saw me when I looked around the room, didn't you?
You look very confused.
Because I was like, who the crap just walked through this room? I thought Blake had walked back in the room.
Let's timestamp this. What time is it how long we've been going?
Hour 48 and 11 seconds.
Okay. Hour 48.
That was freaking wild.
About an hour
dude.
47 it happened. So we'll run it back.
That was wild, man.
We'll run it back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, other people saw it too. All right. Back to the, we'll rewind it later. Back to
what I was going to say is I agree with Corn. I believe Trump will win this election because some of the things that I think kind of have to happen will happen with him as president. And that's kind of what they've been foreshadowing. If you've noticed, they've been in a lot of ways forecasting that he will win. There's been a lot of programming that's kind of indicated that Trump will probably win this election. If you've noticed, he may not. I mean, I could always be wrong, but they have forecasted that in subtle but strange ways that they were totally different in 2020. And he also is the perfect person to do the things that I think will happen and kind of need to happen. And it's exactly what Corn said. I mean, you literally nailed it. Israel and Palestine will continue to fight because that's what they've always done, but it will simmer way down. The war in Ukraine and Russia will come. I mean, it will be over so freaking fast. It will be over.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. I'd really be surprised if it went 2 months.
It will 100% be over. It will be over by February of next year.
Yeah.
And China, you nailed it. I mean, they will take Taiwan, but it will be because Trump basically allowed them to do it.
Yeah.
And that will happen, I think, in his 4 years of presidency. And the Democrats, what will happen from that too is a scandal will come out of that. There will be a scandal that slowly over 4 years, Trump is cozying up to China. That will happen. That will happen.
Somebody did ask on here if I voted today. Yes, I did vote. I'm going to tell you my story about voting here just a little bit and who I voted for. So you think things are going to look? You think Donald Trump's going to wield some forces to really change the outlook of this country and world affairs? Then
I do.
Okay,
I do. I think things will change.
Corn, you got anything to add to that? You think the economy's going to immediately get better?
Yeah, I think like the small businesses specifically around the area that we're at is really the only small business owners I talk to. Trump puts a lot of confidence in all those people. Just like the guy that said he's not going to spend nothing. Yeah, it's going to be a breath of fresh air for all those people.
Buy a truck.
If Trump gets in there.
You know what? But you know what's interesting about those people is those people are never going to win.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Do you know, we've been in business for 5 years. Did you know that this year was literally by a blast off, like mega star, our best year of business we've ever had?
You know, it's
Did
funny.
you know that?
I actually did know that. And I've even
you know how I found that out?
How?
When I got my tax bill.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard what the tax bill was.
I didn't.
But I'm going to go ahead and tell you. It is rough, son.
Well, I guess I didn't know that. I've really strongly thought that because we're also up in so many other metrics this year that you would look at a business and even just our content, everything. But it doesn't seem like it because we felt like we're in a lull for months, a while. But we even had this conversation months ago. You become almost numb to a certain level of success because unless it's like way beyond what you're used to, it doesn't feel like you're growing or like you're doing anything or like you're doing good. But then you're not able to see how you're steadily growing. I mean, 3 of 7 project has grown substantially. You can look at it on so many different metrics, not even just financially. Every single year.
Yeah.
Every year. I mean, it's crazy.
And I don't track it. I don't keep up with it. You know how I operate. I just do the next thing that's in front of me, right? Yeah. And I don't even keep up with it until Blake calls me and he's like, "Do you want to know what we're having to pay for taxes this year?" And I'm like, "Yeah, go ahead and tell me." And then I'm like, "Oh wow, that's bad."
We gotta start. We gotta find the loopholes on that.
Yeah.
Trump got Missouri.
All right, give us an update, Corn.
Got Missouri, put him at, according to this thing we're checking out, it's 188 electoral votes.
So how many electoral college votes did he get for Missouri?
10.
10, that's not bad. Georgia is still light red.
80% of Georgia reporting.
80%. Wow. And what's he at?
He is at 52.2%.
80% reporting in Georgia. But like Chili said, he thinks Georgia is going to be contested because of the measures that were put in place in Georgia by Brian Kemp, our governor here, to prevent election fraud. And Chili,
they will argue that, that result is a matter of that.
What's North Carolina, Corn?
It's 64% reporting, and it's about the same, 52.1 to 40s. And those are like 200,000 vote differences in North Carolina and Georgia both.
Okay. And Chili's prediction is Trump's going to win North Carolina, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Trump wins North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, and he has to win Pennsylvania to win the election. I mean, if like he literally has to, for my prediction to even be correct, that he wins. And that will be the central state of any contesting, any lawsuits, anything. So
Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania.
I haven't spent much time in Pennsylvania.
I've never been. I'd like to though.
Gail Sack.
A lot of Amish.
Gail Sack says Georgia is going red.
Oh yeah.
That's what Gail Sack says. Well, Gail, I don't know if you visited Atlanta anytime in your late history, but Atlanta is the butthole of the South. And that's where most of the population is centralized in the state of Georgia, is in the city of Atlanta. And let me tell you, it's like a big, fat butthole that's got crap smeared all over it. Somebody didn't even wipe their butt good. I mean, like nothing. Just took a big old fat crap in a hole in the ground like a Muslim, got up and just went to walking. That's what Atlanta will remind you of.
Mud butt. Mud butt.
Yes. So if you think that Georgia is going red, yeah, you might be surprised, huh? You might be surprised.
Well, looks like they are right now.
So what if Cornbread, how long do you think, if Trump wins this election, how long do you think it's going to take before we see a shift in this economy, people starting to spend more money and prices starting to come down?
I think it'll probably be the spring or the summer. He'll get that, what is it, the Keystone Pipeline? He'll bust that jewel back open, and that's going to drop your fuel prices. Your diesel prices have got to come down. I remember when I was a kid, man, diesel was cheaper than gas.
I remember when diesel was 99 cents a gallon.
It has got to come down. It really does. It has got to come down.
I've never understood why diesel got more expensive than gas. It's a less refined fuel.
I know it.
It takes less processes to actually make it. So, what was gas kind of in the last year or two that Trump was in? I remember it was $1.90 something, I think.
Yeah, I remember 186, I think maybe was the cheapest I seen it.
I remember it was so low that I remembered looking at the gas sign and being like, holy crap, that's like the lowest I've seen gas. I mean, I'm so rich now that I don't really look at gas prices anymore. But back then I was really poor and I paid attention to it. And I remember looking at it and being like, wow, that's low. Yeah. Mini Moose says he paid 167. What you got over there, Chill?
Oh, it was just some election, just people, there's been a lot of people say that it's ironic that we're doing an election night coverage when we didn't even vote, which first of all, we did vote, but I think they're referencing, any kind of things that have been said about not voting.
Yeah, I came out and endorsed Donald Trump on a Chuck Talk like a week ago.
I've early voted in Paulding County.
I voted.
Yeah.
So
it's public record. You can find out if I voted or not.
Yeah, so you guys are saying that, man. You don't even know what you're talking about, guy. We're voters around here, by gosh.
I've probably voted more times than you. How old are you, feller? How old are you, feller?
Blake voted for Chase Oliver. It's kind of a wasted vote.
Well, whoever you want to vote for, I ain't gonna hate.
Neo Amish dude just gave a $20 super chat and said, "Here's a donation to the 3 of 7 tax relief fund." Hey, Bubba, you're gonna have to put on that 20 there. You're gonna have to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more zeros. 1, 2. Yeah, like 4 or 5 more zeros you're going to put on there.
That's a big difference.
You need to take that money back and buy seat belts for them babies in the back of them dang carriages of them Amish people. Do you remember that?
I do, and Chad threatened to cane them.
Do you guys think that Donald Trump would ban the Amish?
No.
Would Kamala ban the Amish?
I like the Amish. The Amish are a good thing. They're a real good thing. It would be great if I went and visited them. No, he likes the Amish.
Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
I could see Kamala banning the Amish, though.
Oh yeah.
Did you know? I saw a video of Kamala not long ago, and it was her talking, and she was saying that it was a real epiphany to her when she realized that with the stroke of her pen, she could change the outcome of people's lives. With the stroke of her pen, people's lives would change according to her will.
That's true.
I thought, what a evil and
Yeah.
wicked
Did
person.
she laugh like a dragon after she said that?
how have these people, these politicians, how has their perspective gotten so out of whack? Like it's almost mind-boggling.
Yeah.
How it's gotten so out of whack. So you think we'll see prices come down by the spring if Donald Trump gets elected, and that's
Right.
because he's going to start tapping into the oil reserves here in the United States, and the price of gas and diesel fuel
Yeah.
is going to
He's going to
come
open
down.
that pipeline up, the construction of the Keystone Pipeline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and again, I've heard a lot of people say, when we're talking about what if Kamala, I've heard so many people say it's over. I mean, we heard Eli Musk say it on the Joe Rogan interview that this will be the last election. I've heard family members say if Kamala gets in, it's over for the country. So
They said that 4 years ago.
They
Yeah.
said that when
Yeah.
Obama got it.
Well,
I
now
remember
to
when
talk about Obama.
I was in the military when Obama got elected.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually saw a video of Obama out campaigning for Harris just the other day. Did you see that?
Yeah,
Chili?
I've tracked. I've tracked a lot of Obama over the last 8 years because to me it's very interesting what he's done.
A lot of people think he's actually pulling the strings behind all this.
For sure. Yeah, he's had a very interesting post presidency, in my opinion, and it's been 8 years, and he is extremely young to have been president and now had 8 years after, and like he's not done what I expected him to do after being president, because he was a very popular president, really. I mean, he wasn't amongst like our bubble, but he was a pretty popular president.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the country liked him as an individual.
Charismatic. Young.
Yeah. Well spoken.
Man of color.
Well spoken.
Yeah.
Yeah. He always, he out debated McCain. He out debated Mitt Romney. He really was well liked. And I thought that he and Michelle Obama would become celebrities to a much higher degree than they have.
Yeah.
They've really kind of just stayed behind the scenes, made some money writing books, made some money with some $1 million speaking engagements, but they've seemed like they've just pulled some strings from behind the scenes, and that's really what they're interested in. It's quite interesting. I don't think Obama is running the show, but I think he has continued to be used strategically by the same powers that were deciding what he would do when he was in office for 8 years very effectively. I think he's been utilized effectively to influence politicians, to influence people, Democrat voters in particular, because Republican people hate him. I mean, they think he's just the devil.
Yeah,
but
they do. They think he is the devil. Yeah.
But Democratic voters love him, man. They still do, and he moves public perception and public social causes very well, very effectively. So it's interesting what he's done. He's kind of laid low, but remained effective, in my opinion. And he's campaigned for Harris, but nobody's really talking about the fact that she is an ungodly, unpopular candidate. Like, really,
I kind of talked about it earlier.
I mean,
when I said if you look at the climate that we're in and you look at what's going on, like it is an impossibility for her to win.
She was so unpopular.
She is horrible. She is horrific, horrendous. Like, at least when Joe Biden talks, you can laugh. when she talks, it just literally makes me angry. Like it's like scratching nails on a freaking chalkboard, man. She is a terrible, terrible, ugly, just terrible human being. Yes, she is an unpopular candidate. Yes, like
she was so unpopular when she ran against Joe Biden in 2020 to be the Democratic nominee that it was unbelievable. I mean, it was literally unbelievable how unpopular she was. Tulsi Gabbard destroyed her. Joe Biden talked, negatively about her just over and over and over again. I mean, it was unbelievable how unpopular a candidate could be. And then she became the vice president and was an extremely unpopular vice president. And then we're expected to believe that everybody in the country has thrown their support behind her. I don't believe nearly the amount has that they claim. I do think she'll get legitimately millions of votes because they would vote for. I mean,
there are millions of smooth brains out there.
Do you realize you could get 70 million people in the country who are registered Democrats to vote for a rock for president over Donald Trump? You literally could. It does not matter how unpopular she is. They will vote for her. But to get an actual win, to me, a legitimate win, like the public doesn't actually want her to be president, will not actually vote for her. She's less popular. I mean,
in an update, Trump got 4 electoral votes from Montana and 6 from Utah.
That's good. He's up to 198 on our ticker. I see other people here must be watching different tickers, but
Fox has got him at 205 and got Kamala at 117.
So,
I think they're giving her the states like California, and like right there they gave her Oregon, but according to this counter right here,
it's because it's so early.
Yeah.
So okay.
Look, an accurate of what results have come in now is we have Kamala at 226 and Trump at 219. That is where it sits with everything being counted except
what was
for
that number again?
226 Kamala, 219 Trump. That is if you look at the map right now with everything certified except for the last 7 swing states that we mentioned earlier. Yeah. That's what the number is. And then how those 7 swing states go will determine it. That's going to be really, really, really accurate. I assume in an hour we'll see this actual number on all the tickers.
So you think at some point that Kamala is actually going to take the lead?
Yeah.
Because it's wrestling. She has to take the lead at some point in this match, right?
Well, it's just kind of the nature of how this is going to go. But
so, what's that ticker you're looking at, Chili?
This is the one I'm making.
That you made that?
Yeah.
What the crap, dude?
Yeah. Look, that's
what the crap, guy?
That is the results as of now. And we're waiting on 7 states to come in. We're waiting on Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. And as those certify on this ticker, because I believe some will come in tonight if we stay up late enough, I'll mark them down. But that's the only 7 that are going to go in either direction. That's the only 7.
Well, right now we're showing Trump with a commanding lead.
Yeah, man. This is the Fox. This is the Google ticker.
Nearly 100. The Fox ticker. Now, why is the Fox ticker different?
Because that Google ticker is like ridiculous. I mean, it's not even updating right. I don't know. Google. Nobody wants to talk about how Google has manipulated search results for years and years and years and years. And if you listen to people like Robert Epstein on the Joe Rogan podcast, he basically thinks totally opposite of me. He thinks elections do matter. Your votes count. He thinks all of that. And I mean, maybe he's right to more of a degree than what I've said tonight. I mean, I'm not sure how much it matters. It's very, very interesting, the complexity of politics in the U.S., but he thinks it matters a lot, and he thinks Google itself drives much of it because they intentionally hide positive articles about Donald Trump. They will not show up when you search his name. And I did a truck talk on where YouTube took away the podcast.
You couldn't find that
Yeah,
podcast with Donald Trump
and-
for like
and-
a whole day.
and Google
man.
owns YouTube. They do it
And
all
it
the
was,
time.
And that podcast, again, it was getting 1 million views per hour, and
did-
it wasn't even trending.
It
Apparently,
didn't make it on the featured trending page of YouTube.
Yeah.
And it was the fastest growing YouTube video. Like,
probably in history.
yeah, I mean,
Well, that's going to lead us into our next question, which has got to be on a lot of people's mind. And Chili has kind of touched on it here and there, but we haven't really got into it. And I want to get into this conversation about election integrity, since we are covering the 2024 election results tonight here live on the 3 of 7 YouTube channel. Election integrity is something that's on everybody's mind. Chili has presented his theory where I feel like you're in the middle, Chili. I mean, where do you stand on this, man? Because you voted today.
I did vote.
So
I didn't tell you. I didn't say who I voted for. A lot of y'all have allowed who you voted for. Blake voted for Chase Oliver. You voted for Trump, and Corn voted for Trump.
yeah,
Yeah,
but that's fine. No matter who you voted for, you voted.
yeah.
But there have been on many occasions, including comments that you've made here on this live broadcast, that lead me to believe you don't have much faith in election integrity. But you did go and vote. So
I'm in the middle.
I feel like you're on the fence on this, man. Like, what's going on here? Let's get to the bottom of this election integrity. What's going on here?
Well, we'll get to the bottom of it. I think your vote counts. I think you should vote early and vote often.
You think the votes are counted?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're counted.
Well, you've expressed.
Don't you?
You've expressed different opinions in the past. I mean,
Well, I've shared what. I've shared a. We're all doing it. I've shared a common prevailing argument to the contrary. But
well, I mean, even something as simple as the conversation we had, whatever it's been, an hour ago, when we talked about these votes are being cast electronically, and we could literally have the results from every vote that was cast in person. We could literally have them instantly. And why does this dramatic ticker? It reminds me of the COVID ticker. Y'all remember the COVID ticker? It was like, oh man,
yeah.
like somebody's dying every second from coronavirus, right? Y'all remember that? It was on the bottom of the screen, right? That's what this reminds me of. Like, we could get these election results instantly because it's all done electronically. Well, what's going on here? Like, why this? Why does it take hours and days if this is real? I mean, so, and Chili, you've even said here on this live broadcast, you've talked about how basically they have to swing the pendulum because they want to keep our faith in election integrity at a certain level. They don't want us to actually begin to believe that our votes don't count, because then at that point, people are going to get mad, right?
Yeah.
So they swing the pendulum.
I'm just throwing out arguments. I'm not
to keep people happy, so that we can all have some faith that yes, we the people are still in control of who our leader is, right? So you brought up, I mean, that's a great argument.
Yeah. I'm just sharing theories.
But in your heart of hearts, when you cast that vote today, do you really think that there's some little wizard on the other end? By the way, who are these people counting these millions and millions of votes, right? Like, who's keeping up with this, right? Yeah. Oh, the computer, right? Oh, the computer. Oh, what about the mail-in ballots? Who are these people behind the scenes that are going through and counting these mail-in ballots and keeping up with the tabs on that? Like, who are these people?
Who are these people?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Has anybody asked this question? Who are these people, man?
Well, I want to know where the Dominion voting machines that Bill Gates propagated that were going to be used to count the elections, that they just went away. The Dominion voting software that all the election lawsuits were over with Rudy Giuliani
Yeah.
in 2020. What happened to that talk?
Everything that I voted with looked exactly the same
As it always has,
as it always has.
or has since it went electronic.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of paper ballots still in the country.
Are there?
Yeah, and a lot of mail-in ballots, and those take a while to count, bub.
Who's counting them?
Election
Counters.
officials.
Yeah. Election officials.
Yeah.
Yeah,
bub.
This is real interesting. I told you Courtney was just going to leave the camera on you.
She's been switching it to you.
No, I'm watching it right here. It just stays on Chili the whole time.
I've been talking.
Look, man. I want to know from you guys that are watching the show right now. We got 1.3 thousand people watching the show.
Didn't we have
live
like
right
almost
now.
2,000?
We had almost 2,000 before Marjorie Taylor Green called in
and we haven't recovered.
and freaking started getting all violent on the podcast or on the coverage here. What do you guys think about election integrity? I want to know. What do you? I mean, like truly, what do you
Well, I'll
think?
throw out
Do you
another
think
theory.
there's some wizard out there that's actually counting your vote? And do you think that this position of almighty power over this country, in human terms, do you think that they're actually going to allow you to determine who wields that power? You peasant. Throw out another theory. What do you think?
Well, I will throw out another theory. And then we need to get Cornbread back involved because I've just really taken over and he just is
Yeah, I'm gonna
glued
get.
to that.
I'm
He is glued to that ticker over there. That's how he was in 2022. He was glued to the TV with that COVID tracker. Every time one more went up on the death count in Georgia, he sprayed a little aerosol in the air. But anyway, another theory about election integrity is elections have voter fraud. Every time there's ever an election, local level, state level, national level, there is an element of voter fraud every single time. There's also election mistakes every time. When you're dealing with that amount of votes, whether it's a dang glitch in the computer or somebody or some old lady, old Witta Hamilton who is counting the votes.
Yeah, that election official who counts the votes.
Yeah,
that random person. How do you sign up for the job to count votes?
Well, in Cobb County, we have old Witta Hamilton. She's done it for. She's 96. She's counted votes for.
That's all she's ever done
for 64 years. Listen, poor old Witta Hamilton. She's got arthritis in her hands and she can barely even count the votes. She has a rare form of arthritis and she's 96. So as she counts the ballot, she shakes a little bit and she literally moves them to the back and she drops them sometimes like they get left somewhere. Like it's a mistake. It's an honest mistake. Old Witta Hamilton is honest. It's an honest mistake.
Weren't they finding like bags full of mail-in ballots like in the 2020 election
that were all for Joe Biden, but
yeah, just like massive bags full of them that were never counted.
So anyway, honest mistakes happen. Old Witta Hamilton. She used to make Witta Hamilton used to make pies and leave them on her windowsills, but on account of the arthritis, she's lost the ability to knead.
Yeah. Once she got tired of thieves coming in buying her, taking her pies.
When you make pies, you have to knead a lot, and on account of her arthritis, she can't do that anymore. So she also can't.
She's the only one that they can find to count the votes because nobody else wants that stinking job.
So she also can't count ballots quite to the ability that she used to. So sometimes she might make a mistake. And then there's also people who drive in a truck full of ballots and dump them into the Fulton County precinct. That just happens.
Yeah.
I mean, there is fraud, but that's not new to 2020. That fraud and mistakes have always happened. So just on account of that, you can question whether the actual election is accurate just based on that error, human error, daggum computer error. You can question it. A lot of people forget in 2020 or 2000, Florida, man. It came down to Florida. Gore and Bush, baby. Gore invented the internet, and Bush took out
Saddam.
took out Saddam. That's right, buddy. He avenged his father.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
So, we had two real American heroes running for president in 2000. And do you know more about that, Corn? About what happened with that? Because see, I was a wee one, and I just know what I've read in history. But you lived through it.
Bush got the electoral votes, but Gore actually won the popular vote.
Yep, just like Hillary and Trump in 2016.
Yeah,
and but the problem was it came down to Florida, and there was an election.
Yeah, I don't remember much.
It went to the Supreme Court.
Yeah,
and he didn't know who the president was for weeks.
Yeah.
And they were calling these things hanging chads.
I don't remember that.
Hanging chads. That was that's little pieces of paper that I believe the theory was that they were convinced that you needed a recount in Florida because of miscounted, misplaced ballots, all this stuff. And then, the Supreme Court essentially gave it to Bush. I mean, it seemed like an incredibly sketchy, fraudulent election.
Yeah.
At least in reading about it. But there was not much uproar about it. And
no, there wasn't.
And Bush, was president for 4 years. In the middle of that term, he freaking went out and just hit them daggum terrorists hard, son.
Mm-hmm.
Got reelected, and that was it. He was popular. He was more popular then. Obama was president 2 years. He was popular. It was no problem. And then 2016, is when public perception of the vote kind of being off, or how the crap did Trump win, or what the heck. Hillary said he freaking stole it, and then 2020 was the cluster. And now this year, that's just become a normal part of elections, is talking about fraud.
Right.
But I don't think it's a new phenomenon. I think we're just talking about it now.
Well,
I mean, it's
you've talked about in the past, Chili, like if you've talked about how like they don't need actual mail-in ballots to change the numbers.
right.
They can literally just like add or subtract numbers.
Yeah,
I mean, this is the freaking WWE.
Well,
man.
that's what I don't understand about the talk of 2020 election fraud is they want to hone in on these cases. They're like a truck delivered in the middle of the night to Fulton County precinct. It was a box truck, and it had 40,000 ballots for Joe Biden on the middle of it. It's like, or they could have just changed the number on a program, on a screen.
Exactly.
Like, or somebody.
This is the WWE.
Or
man.
somebody behind the systems could have went.
Like, it's the same as the COVID counter.
I mean, you could have just went, let me highlight that and add 40.
Yeah.
Okay. Like,
let me change that 2 to a 9.
like, how did you need to hire some Arab dude to come drive in with a box truck with a bunch of mail-in ballots that you forged?
Yeah.
Like, no, or just change the number on
that
this.
was part of the voter law. I know in Cobb County, Georgia, there's a law. If it's not there by the time 7:00 on election day, and it don't get counted.
Well, that's what I'm getting at, man. With Georgia will go for Trump, maybe convincingly, and they will say that because of the laws instituted, because of the changes, you took away people's ability to vote in Georgia.
Yeah.
And they're going to say that's why Trump won Georgia this time. There's no way he would have won Georgia if you had allowed everybody to vote. They'll call it voter suppression. So the Republicans are going to accuse the Democrats of voter fraud, and the Democrats are going to accuse Republicans of voter suppression. And it's a playbook, man. I've read it. I've talked to Vince. I've read it.
Yeah.
I really believe that's what's going to happen. But if Kamala wins, it sure does throw a wrench in my plan. So I hope that doesn't happen. My theory.
Yeah, that would destroy your theory. There's
It
a
would
big
kill it.
argument going on in the live chat right now, by the way, about what is better, a 7.3 or a 5.9 Cummins?
7.3.
No, sir.
Yeah.
I actually
7.3.
have both. I have a Ford,
You have one,
7.3.
and Brooke has one.
and I
It's not
actually
your truck.
have a Dodge with a 5.9 Cummins, and the 5.9 Cummins is the better engine.
Negative.
So I just had to throw that out.
Wow, you disagree with that?
Corn, I want to get your take on this election integrity, man. Are these votes actually being counted, or is this the WWE and they're just changing the votes and they're maintaining this illusion by swinging the pendulum that we the people have some influence over who is going to be in charge of our country for the next 4 years? What's your take on it, brother?
Well, I definitely think that it makes it easier for them to be able to say, hey, we need this many more ballots when we have early voting, and those machines can count so fast that they make out like they can't. They can. It's a computer.
Yeah.
Like, if it can't, what's the benefit of having it? So I think that I've always been on the fence about the early voting. The last 2 elections, I early voted to. It's it's more appealing. You don't have to wait in line as long.
Well, apparently there was nobody at the polls today.
Yeah, because everybody early voted. So
Yeah.
I think it makes it more. I think it makes it more able for them to know what they have to have if they are going to fudge it.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Like they can know way ahead of time.
So you think they're actually looking at what's coming in?
Yeah.
Like so you don't think this is something that's predetermined?
No. I think and then also how can you say that anything where they don't have to have an ID is valid? Like, you don't know who's coming in there and voting?
Yeah.
Like, how? None of that's valid to me.
But you think that they, meaning the federal government, is actually taking into account the votes of the citizens of the United States.
Who counts them?
I've already asked that question. Okay,
Ask it again. Nobody's answered it.
Yeah.
Who counts them?
Does anyone watching this, the over 1,000 people who are watching this, does anyone know who counts these votes? Has anybody ever thought about that? Has anybody ever asked that question?
We have free and fair elections.
Does anyone know who counts these votes?
Well, and like, take for instance Fulton County last year, when I remember them showing on TV all the volunteers that was lined up on all those lifetime plastic tables counting the votes. Volunteers
count the votes.
The absentee ballots, the ones that had to be counted by hand.
And then you have to certify them. Who certifies them?
Well, I know at the end in Georgia, the Secretary of State certifies the election.
Yep, Brad Raffensperger.
The election results.
Yep.
But now, who is certifying, hey, this volunteer is capable of counting these votes?
Thank you.
I have no idea.
All Brad Raffensperger does is signs it.
Boy, that's a really vague answer.
Yeah.
When it comes down to something as important as electing the leadership of our country, and we ask, who is counting these votes? And our best answer, and our answer from all of our viewers here on the live chat, volunteers. That's our answer to something that is captivating the entire world, a decision that's being made that is apparently going to either destroy our country or make our country the greatest thing that it's ever been.
Volunteer.
And when we ask who is counting the votes, the only answer we have is volunteers.
And by the way,
are you freaking kidding me, man?
By the way, if you want to know what's real funny about that is when I asked who certifies it, Corn says Brad Raffensperger, the Secretary of State of Georgia, who, by the way, is a politician, who, by the way, was elected by votes that were counted by volunteers. Do you understand that? Like that. I mean, what?
Yeah. So wait, when you start asking these questions, like what, like how does no one talk about this?
So who counts votes is Well, there's volunteers who count the votes for the Secretary of State, who certifies the votes that were counted for the president by volunteers.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's government by the people.
Sounds good to me.
Of
Bub.
the people.
Boy, that scratches the itch right there. That really scratches the itch.
Gosh, this Google tracker is so behind.
So give us an update.
We need a video or something of Fox.
Trump is at 205 and Kamala is at 117 electoral.
So Trump's still busting out with a commanding lead, huh?
Yeah.
We need Walter Cronkite.
Grizz said Newsmax.
No,
He's watching Newsmax.
Newsmax, OAN, One America News.
So
Too right wing. We're in the middle.
What about that Euro news?
Oh yeah, Euro News. That's good. They're free and fair. Oh, don't go to Newsmax.
I want a map. There we go.
There we go.
This
What's
allows Trump got Georgia.
Newsmax
And North Carolina. That's no.
And North Carolina.
Newsmax may be getting a little trigger happy.
They're getting real trigger happy. I mean, I do believe Trump will win Georgia and North Carolina, but I wouldn't. I don't think you can call it yet. Now they've got Pennsylvania leaning Trump. I mean, I'm telling you, it's over. I'm talking about over. If that happens, you can pack up.
Well, Google's got him leaning Trump too.
Pennsylvania, how much votes come in? Good night. The whole state's red.
Except Philadelphia.
Yeah. And that's where it'll all be from. What's funny is the Electoral
And
College.
Pittsburgh.
We never finished Electoral College explanation earlier. But what's funny is the states themselves don't work that way. The states get all of the electors. So whatever, the electors are determined by population of the state. That's why California has 54 and Wyoming has 3. So what's ridiculous, like what's so funny about it is our president is not determined by popular vote, but the state is determined by popular vote. So whoever, like you just have to win by one freaking vote in the state to then assign all of the electors of that state to the one candidate.
Yeah.
So it is determined by popular vote. I mean, it's very funny.
Well, we never got to the bottom of who makes up the Electoral College. Who are these people?
Well, there's what is it? 538 electors. That's just state designated officials who will cast the vote based on good faith.
Yeah,
For who?
they're just good, honest people. So somebody just walked around in Georgia and said, "Here's a good, honest person. We're gonna make this person part of this Electoral College, huh?"
Let me make sure. I need to look that up. Let me see.
No, that's all right, Chili.
Well, no, we need to. That may be wrong. That's all right, Chili. We'll just espouse that.
So, any update, CB? What do you think about this Newsmax counter that Grizz recommended?
You need to get off of
I think
it.
they're getting way too
Yeah.
trigger happy.
OAN and Newsmax are right wing, heavily leaning. They're gonna switch it for Trump.
They've got Trump at 242 right now.
Yeah, they.
Why?
Let's see here. 242.
Oh, Kamala won Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, she won that. a
She's
while
gonna win
back.
DC too. I don't know why they don't go ahead and call it.
Yeah, they gave her DC.
And Hawaii.
205 for Trump, 170. That's even interesting to me too. Like all these.
They're all
me-
different.
Yeah, I mean, how's that even happen?
They're all
Because
different.
they're calling it like
Yeah.
how that works is ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. They're all calling.
And so we're also trusting that these media outlets are giving us
Yeah.
accurate results, right?
Yeah.
Do you see how this whole process
We're the only
literally
election
from
coverage
the
talking like that.
ground floor is so convoluted that how on earth can any sane human being have any faith in a vote that they cast? The entire process, literally from when we ask ourselves, who is counting these votes? And our best answer is volunteers. And
Can-
every single ticker is different.
Can I
and-
read you something from NPR?
Yeah, go ahead.
who are these electors and how do they get selected? It begins and ends with loyalty. Loyalty to state and national parties. That, in part, is how the candidates are all but guaranteed to have the electors' votes match the ballots cast by regular people in general election voting in each state. So there are 538 electors, one for each U.S. senator and U.S. representative, plus 3 for Washington, D.C. The number of electors has changed, obviously, throughout history as those numbers have changed. How electors get picked varies by state, but in general, state parties file slates of names for who the electors will be. So state parties file slates of names. They include people with ties to those state parties, current and former party officials, state lawmakers, and party activists. So lobbyists and former politicians are who your electors are. It's the machine, bub.
Yeah.
It's the machine.
Just good, honest people, man. Just good, loyal people who are loyal to their state.
And
Good, honest people. Somebody walked around town and found some good people, and they just signed them up for this electoral college.
so they're actually, what's funny to me is to me, you could just make this a huge WWE show and then have the electors decide who the president is. That matches what the show says, but it's just a total predetermined outcome. But there is something called a faithless elector, and that is when these electors go and cast their votes for president according to what the state generally voted for, is they don't match up.
Right.
That happens.
Yeah.
That's also funny. So that also throws away your loyalty, but it also makes it very confusing how there would be a faithless elector when the whole it's a
Holy crap, man. The more you break this down, the more you realize we are literally living in the WWE.
but this
Like,
is
for real, dude. I mean, have you ever broke it down this level and thought about it on this
No,
level,
no,
Corn?
I haven't. No.
nobody has. That's why
It's literally so convoluted and so ridiculous that we peasants go and take the time out of our lives to do this thing that is
Voting.
so convoluted
we did it.
that how on earth can you believe that this is real? I just don't understand it. I don't understand when you break it down to this level. I don't understand how you can believe it's real.
Yeah. The more you think about it, like I said, it just pulls validity out of it constantly.
Yeah, it's just like we couldn't come up with a simpler system than this. Like, that's the thing. Anything that's actually going to work and be accurate, it's got to be simple. Like, it's convoluted so that they can do what they want. It's like, it's the same as a tax code. That's why the tax code is so convoluted. It's so that they can do what they want.
Right.
Somebody asked, how has Iowa been called?
According to this, they're showing it leaning toward Trump. Let's see what.
Look, I'm telling you, you can pencil in the entire map other than 7 states. I cannot stress that enough. All we need to be talking about is Nevada, Arizona, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, and Georgia. I mean, like, you're done other than that.
Newsmax is showing Georgia's all red, son.
And so is North Carolina. And Virginia's blue. But, Virginia was close.
Yeah, Virginia's close.
Virginia's very close.
I think Virginia will go blue.
But it's very close. It's but Pennsylvania being, I'm also, if you want to give 20 electoral college votes to Trump for Pennsylvania right now,
Virginia's just separated by a little over 10,000 votes.
yeah, but Pennsylvania is I'm telling you, if Pennsylvania is called, it's over. It will not be called tonight. But I wish it was, because we could just pack up and go home. Trump's your president. I mean, how long are we gonna have to wait on this? These daggum swing states are taking forever.
Well, yeah. I mean, they got slow machines there.
I mean,
They got slow computers.
This is
Well,
ridiculous.
that's the thing, man.
They've always
Corn,
had
we're
slow
gonna-
computers.
their
in swing
elections,
states.
their elections closed before the rest of the freaking country, man.
Whose?
over here on the East
Pennsylvania?
Coast.
I know Pennsylvania and
Yeah,
Georgia,
Georgia.
North Carolina,
They
Virginia.
don't have a good internet connection there, man.
Yeah.
There's no good internet in Pennsylvania.
Look, and if you've noticed, all the ones that don't call are the swing states, which, yes, it's partially because they're tight. But do you really buy that? It's because it's the show.
It's the show.
We've
man.
been telling you for months, hey, these are the swing states that are going to go either way, and they're going to decide it. Well, we can't call them early. They'll call Nevada early, or they'll call Wisconsin or Georgia early, but like it's all going to come. I'm telling you, Pennsylvania. I don't know how long it'll take.
Well, do you guys want to hear my voting story?
Good Lord,
Yeah.
yes.
And we're going to take a little break here.
Yeah.
So I had quite a time voting today, because I got in obviously early this morning. I flew in from San Antonio, and
Texas.
yeah, I flew in from Texas. Got here early this morning. You know, I had to sleep. Obviously, had to get some sleep. I slept in because
Obviously,
it was war slam out, man. And here I am up at 10:40 at night. I'm up here serving the people.
Up here getting it.
At
You're
10:40
literally
at
getting
night,
it.
I'm up here serving you, subscriber.
like he does every night.
Every night gets it.
Had to get some dang rest tonight or this morning, man. Look, I knew today was the only day to vote. I don't do early voting. I think early voting should be banned. It's a stupid concept. Whoever came up, early voting. I knew today was the only day to vote. Finally got up out of bed this morning. My in-laws were at the house, right? They stayed the night. You know, they were watching animals and stuff. Got up, and then I had to engage with them, right? Had to spend time with them. Did that all morning. Well, on into the afternoon. And then I realized that today is also the rut. So I was going to have to hunt this evening. All right. Polls close at 7:00.
Yeah.
I don't get out the woods till 6:30. What time I get out the woods. Okay. Now, when I get out the woods, I'm going to have to eat something because I'm hungry.
Naturally, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my day's stacking up real quick, and I'm like, how am I going to vote today? Well, what I did is I actually went to my wife. I said, look,
Spit it out.
you know who the head of this household is.
Yeah.
I went to her, I told her straight up, you know who the head of this household is, right? You know what I've got on my plate today to keep this family running, to provide for this family. Okay? You ain't doing nothing but being a woman.
Yeah.
Okay?
Easy stuff.
I said, look, you doing easy stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm out here hunting.
Getting it.
I'm out here making money. I'm out here doing all this stuff.
I'm getting it, son.
I got to host election coverage tonight. I said, look, I'm sending you to the poll. And that's what I did. I sent her to the freaking poll.
There you go. She wasn't going to vote herself anyhow.
She can't vote.
yeah.
That's
She's a
not
woman.
allowed. That's not
She's a
allowed in
woman.
my household. All
Yeah.
right. That's not happening in my household. I told her, I said, go to the poll
Oh my God.
and cast this vote for me.
The poll.
Yes.
Yeah.
Go to the poll booth and cast this vote for me. And she got up. She got out of her pajamas,
She knew what was good.
got
for
her stuff on, went to the poll, and she cast a vote the way I told her to cast the daggone vote.
There you go.
All right. So I was able to vote today. I was also able to get home late, engage my in-laws. I was able to go hunt, eat a good dinner, and host election coverage. And I was able to vote today because I sent my wife to the poll. And that's what all you men should have done today. All you men should have did man stuff today. You should have went daggone hunting. You should have went that and killed some stuff. You should have went and shot your gun. You should have went and made some daggone money to keep your house going, to keep your family up, to keep your kids fed. Instead, y'all stinking lazy men were down at the stinking poll, wasting your time, casting a daggone ballot for something that is just silly anyways, and you all wasted your time, and now you're a day poorer, you're a day older, you ain't got no meat on the ground, you ain't got nothing, and your wife's still in charge. You fools. Every one of you should have told your wives how to vote, and you should have sent them to the poll.
To the poll.
And that's how I voted today. And you know what? Because she did that, you know how I rewarded her? Out of the kindness of my heart.
Jeez.
Out of the kindness of my heart, I let her wear my sticker for the rest of the evening. So all of y'all that said I ain't vote, put that in your pipe and smoke it.
You did good, bud.
All right.
You did good.
We're taking a little break. We might come back. We might not. We love you guys. Enough said.
That's freaking classic.